Happy MLK Day. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the mayor of Chocolate City, militant with a mouthpiece, aka the Negro Whisperer. And this is a special show tonight, so I hope you enjoy it. We normally don't do holidays, but since this is such a relevant holiday, I figured it might make sense for us to have a conversation. I'm not alone though. Mr. Carter, what's popping with you, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, happy Michael King Day. Happy Michael King Day. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. When we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk, raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, the hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go to sing, Moss, man.
Big ups to black businesses everywhere. Listen, it is cold outside. I can't even waste time. I tried to go outside and do my normal pregame meditation. I was like, no. It is cold. It's minus something odd degrees. And I think this weather makes me truly realize how blessed you are to have somewhere to live. Please don't take it for granted. There are people who are homeless. There are warming centers. You know, if you know somebody who's homeless and you can't take them into your home or whatever, there are warming centers and you can find them. You can Google them. They're not hard to find. But yeah, I mean, welcome to the show, man. Hey, man, how you doing tonight, man? I know you look like you warm and toasty as well. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm all right, man. You know, I do the show down here from the basement, right? And I ain't come down here and warm nothing up. Usually I come down here and I turn some heat on a little space heater or something. But it's getting together now, man. But I'm all right, man. You know what I mean? It's Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? We got to expect the cold at some point. We done had it good all winter. You know what I'm saying? It's just now snowing and really getting cold. So I look at the bright side. You know what I mean? This thing almost over with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Ewok, I'm sorry, Dion's in the chat room. He said you're not on YouTube. I commented on YouTube and it says, I just checked my connection. It says I am on YouTube, Dion. So I hope everybody, y'all let me know if y'all can't hear, if it's problems with the audio or anything of that nature. Let me know. It's only technology, right? It only goes so far as it goes. But Kamar, like, you know, I feel the same way. Like it's you know, I usually that's the name of the show, Live from the Basement. So you know, it's good to have a spot and a space. How you been since I last talked to you, brother? How you been doing?
Man, I've been grateful, man. I've been grateful. You know what I mean? Every day is another blessing, man. I find something to feel blessed about and grateful about every day. You know, focus on the good instead of the bad so I get more good.
There we go.
You know?
Shout out to Vince Tony. He said, "What's up, Outlaws?"
What up,
Vince Tony,
Vince?
how you doing, my brother? How you doing? How's everybody doing? 414 stand up, MLK Day. My brother said Michael King Day. A lot of people don't know that his name was actually Michael King, he and his father.
Hey, man, I don't know why that's funny to me. Every time I hear it, man, I giggle a little bit.
Well, just because I think we put it in a frame one time and said, well, Martin was his rap name because his real name is Martin Luther. I mean, it's Michael King, right? So his dad changed the name to honor some pope or something like that. So when you hear us say Michael King, we're still talking about Martin. We just say Martin was his rap name. I know people say y'all assholes.
Cass is what his mama call him.
Right, Michael. I bet you. I wonder if anybody who knew him a long time would ever see him be like, "Oh, what up, Mike?" And he'd be like, "How you doing?" They call me Martin now. I don't know. Bad.
Or talk in hindsight, like, yeah, man, I remember me and Michael was on for
right, Michael. You know, Michael, AD brother. Okay. Rail, how you doing, man?
King. Martin Luther, Michael the King.
How you doing, Rail?
Man, I'm a bit tired today, man. It's been a wild ass weekend. You know, I was one of the people who power was out for like 2 days. So
oh wow.
My shit went out about 3:30 on Friday. I couldn't even finish my day at work because I work from home. And then they said it was gonna be on by 8 that night. So we was in the dark and cold and shit, but we tried to thug it out. But we dozed off. But I ended up waking up at about 10:30, and the shit was still off, and it was cold in the house. So I decided to get my kids to the hotel. But even to do that, I had to dig my
Get out in
van
the
out the
cold,
alley
right?
and shit. I had to dig it out the alley. Got stuck a few times getting out the alley. Then was driving to different hotels, but they was at capacity because it was 500. No, what was it? I think it was 589 people in my area that was out. 589 households. So I found a hotel Friday. And then they said it was gonna be on by 8 p.m. Saturday. But round about 5 on Saturday, they texted us, told us it wasn't gonna be up till January 15th.
Damn.
So
Damn.
I was like, shit, let me find another hotel. I called the hotel that I was at on Friday night. They was at capacity. So I ended up booking 2 nights at the La Quinta. But when I came home yesterday morning just to make sure my pipes ain't burst, because I had to change my turn my faucets to drip and shit because we ain't had no heat. So you gotta make sure the pipes don't burst.
Right.
So I came yesterday morning just to check on the pipes before I go back to the hotel, and thankfully I heard my heat blowing. So I went and grabbed my kids and just charged that second night to the game. But yeah, man, just been a whole bunch of like 2-3 days of shoveling, pushing cars, and helping other people dig their cars out. So I'm kind of exhausted today.
Man, you know what's crazy is I'm not too far from you in terms of proximity on the northwest side, and we didn't have a power outage. As a matter of fact, shout out to Dion. Dion had hit me and asked me like, "Man, is your power out?" I'm like, "Nah." And I asked him where he lived in this area. So, man, once again, like Kamar said, something to be grateful about
Yeah,
because I didn't have to deal with the power outage. But that's a salty situation, man. But you did what a daddy got to do. Got
yeah,
to get
man.
right. Got to get up out of here. Got to go to the hotel. Y'all got come on, get
Hey,
your shit.
hey, is it me? Is it me, or has it been a lot of power outages like that lately?
Well, with the weather, yeah, with the
That's what I'm
snow,
talking about. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I can remember through the years, I don't remember this many power outages because of the
Right.
weather. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. That's true.
is it a matter of the equipment getting old or something and need to be replaced? Maybe.
A lot of times,
Whatever it is, I'm just saying they need to be on that shit and figure it out because it's a reason why it's been happening a lot more lately.
yeah. Well, some blew up over here. Like I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was at about 10:45 because I had to we couldn't cook, so I had to go get some food for my family and shit. So 10:45, I think the only place that was open around here was JJ's and shit, cause like all the McDonald's and Taco Bell, they ain't had no power. So
Right.
when I was coming back from JJ's, like round about 10:45, 11 o'clock, you seen a bright ass flash, like north of that old Walmart on Silver Spring. I think they said a transformer might have exploded or something like that.
Okay. Dion said he thugged it out. Shout out to Dion. Said he thugged it out. Hey man.
If it was just me, real shit, I would have. Cause like honestly, between food and hotel stays, I probably done came out of band in these last 3 days.
Right.
I got a family. It's 4 kids here, 2 adults. So I got a family of 6. I had to feed each day, throughout the day. So if it was just me and my lady, we would have just wrapped up and closed. But I couldn't do that to my kids, man. It was 46 degrees in this house.
Right.
Yeah, you got to do it when you got them babies like that. I mean, I was just saying you did what a daddy do.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what though, if you live in Wisconsin, right, and you know you got to move, you best get you a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Cause I'm gonna tell you, like, people see my car and they tell whatever, like, why you didn't get this or that? Why you didn't get this model? Why you didn't get that model? My car is 4-wheel drive though. So I'm smashing on the day when it's mess, I'm smashing through the city going where I gotta go like it's nothing. And they looking like I would think that car would spin out or something. It's 4-wheel drive.
I would have thought your shit was rear wheel drive, like like
4-wheel
the sports cars and stuff. I thought they be
4-wheel
rear.
drive. That's part of why I got that particular one because I really would have went, RT or higher,
Yeah,
but I always think practical. So, and I knew I was coming from a truck. I've been used to driving a Tahoe. So what I loved about that was 4-wheel drive. So when I seen 4-wheel drive, I said, oh, I'm grabbing this one. So, to all you haters out there who say, you get your Hellcat. Where was you at with your Hellcat? When it's snowing? You wasn't driving. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Dion said, I've been living on 70, 95 years, and it's happened the last 2.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This has been happening a lot lately, man. There's gotta be something to it.
Like last year, New Year's Eve, we brought in New Year's Eve in the dark because this shit happened. But I know when I stayed over on Granville, because they got so much wooded area, we was the electricity went out a lot because them branches will fall on a power line and break that shit. Maybe I know it's a lot of wooded area over here too, though. So maybe that's the same thing.
Hey, look, and then even that's something that they got to fix too. Like they should be monitoring that type shit.
I will say though,
we paying these motherfuckers money.
But whether
to stay warm and to have lights and shit, you know what I mean? They got to make sure these lines stay clear.
Especially if it's just gonna be them. Fresh. Like we ain't even got no choice of who we get our power from.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that should be on We Energies to make sure this shit's right.
And it is, but we got to remember, weather is weather, right? Like, because you can't predict, and try as you might, there's no foolproof. Look, the water mains broke over here on Good Hope.
Yeah, I had to drive past that shit. It was a geyser out there.
Yeah, weather is weather, man. I mean, you can say, "Oh, make this foolproof or whatever."
Hey.
Especially if it's at the expense of the price going up. You know what I'm saying? That,
but we've been weathering since forever.
It's been Wisconsin for a while.
These motherfuckers know this shit coming.
But there's always something going out too, Kamar.
These motherfuckers know this shit coming, man.
Right.
I don't give a damn. Hey, we pay our money.
I agree with bro, man. And I've been thinking that too for the last couple of years. Every time, because last year we had one of those snowstorms, and at the time, may Pookie rest in peace, that's my snake. All my power went out, and I had to go downstairs. Reptiles can't survive in the cold, and I had to go down there, get her, and actually bring her upstairs and put her in a bag and put her up under me so she could get some body heat. But it's all fucked up out here because today I went to the doctor. I drove my pickup truck. And I don't know, maybe I don't know how to use that 4-wheel drive because I got a Dodge 1500 pickup. But man, I was flying I was flying everywhere. I ain't lying to you, man. I'm talking about when I say I was crazy legging it, I was crazy legging it. So today I'm still waiting on AAA to come pick my vehicle up because I don't know what happened, man. I made it up there, and when I came out from my appointment, my doctor's appointment, I want to go turn my key ignition. It's just spinning like diving. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have my ex-girl come pick me up, jump in the van, and then make it to work. Because man, everything been messed up, even at the job. Normally I'd be up at Oshkosh right now. I'm just on my way to Oshkosh. I probably ain't going to make it there at about 8:30. You know what I'm saying? So this snowstorm, and I ain't going to lie, man. Normally I don't say fuck Wisconsin, but this time I had to say fuck Wisconsin because this shit got irritating, man. Everything going bad. You know, a nigga had to sleep in the crib, and thank God, you know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody, they was like, well, you can turn your stove on. But I wasn't thinking that the gas still going. It just won't. So I had to get a cigarette lighter and light it with the eyes. But me and the dogs, we thugged it out up in there, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I agree with Bull, though, bro. For the last couple of years, them transistors or whatever the fuck been blowing. But I'm going to let y'all go and finish listening. I got one more thing to say. This just shows you how we ain't as strong as we say we is. Because if them hunkies want to, as you see, they can shut us down with everything. You know what I'm saying? Water, electricity, everything. And corral us. And we can't escape out the ghetto. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Dion.
So I'm about to
Dion,
what up?
Before you go, let me ask you a question. You talked about your truck. Do you have to manually turn your 4-wheel drive on?
Yes, I got the. Okay. I don't have a push button because it's a 96. I got the one in the floor.
Okay. The second thing, the first thing I would do is make sure that's working. But the second thing I would say is in a pickup, a lot of times, if you don't have weight in the back of it,
nope, I ain't got no weight.
If you don't have weight in the back of it, you got it'll slide around because
Right.
it's the weight of the motor and all that's in the front.
Yeah.
And so if you put something heavy in in the back of your truck in the winter, and then it holds it down, and then you can take advantage of the 4-wheel drive. That's just
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Boy, you be fish
All right,
tailing
I'm
like a
gonna have to find
motherfucker.
me a fat bitch. I'm gonna have to find a fat bitch to throw back there too, though. And then, hey, fool, I was rolling, and I wanted something to eat because I'm out there thugging. I ain't see the Sherman fingers open because I would have came over there and grabbed me a bite to eat and fuck with you for a minute. So I want to cross the street over there to Reynolds to the pasty place and shit. But yeah, if I known it was open though, I would have came over there and chopped it up with you, know. But if my dog can't come in, then I wouldn't have came up in there because I had my little dog with me and shit, service dog.
You ain't take your dog in the pastry shop.
Discriminated against my dog coming in. Yeah, if they would discriminate against my dog coming in, I would have had to get him a bad review on Google. But I'm about to hang up and I'm about to listen to y'all, man. And I don't want to say Happy Martin Luther King Day, man. We gonna get off into that. I'm gonna see what you niggas got to say, and I call back and we gonna put some shit together because I fuck Martin Luther King Day. Goddamn, what that Black History shit, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Every day is our day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let y'all ride out though.
All right,
I'm gone.
All right. Sharon Evans, how you doing? She said, I think we have more power outages than back in the days because we have more people. The population is growing faster than we can keep up with. I think our demand for power is greater now because back in the days, you know, the grid is only built for so much. We got everything electronic in our houses. Everything is electric. Everything is wireless. You got phones plugged in. You got an internet router. You got, you streaming. So the demand for power is much heavier. So it's prone to fail. Sometimes, and I'm just going with
a good synopsis.
Silver. The silver lining in this all is sometimes you grasp survival concepts when you have to do without heat. You figure, hey, like Braille said, you gotta go get candles. You gotta have shit like that in your house. So when you go out, you say, boom, okay, here we go, we straight.
Hey, kid, that's a good synopsis, but I ain't letting them out yet. You know what I mean? To see if that's the case, they need to build stronger converters and shit.
And then raise our energy costs by $20 a bill. Yeah, but I don't want them to raise the cost and say, well, we had to go, and Kamar said he wanted adamantium transformers.
They raising anyway.
They raising that shit anyway.
And I'm pretty sure they're raising it because they're updating their systems constantly. I'm sure that's driving the cost. I'm real. I'm just
also like nodes, like, because even my cell phone was shitty. My signal was shitty, but I didn't realize that, the electricity also powered like the Time Warner cable nodes that give you internet and some of these phone towers. So like even my phone wasn't really working like that because these towers was down in this area. So it's a lot of shit running off that electricity. Like even when I got my electricity back, my internet still wasn't on for about another 4 to 6 hours because the people told me first they get the hospitals and schools up and running, then the residential houses, and then any kind of utility services and shit like that. So I didn't even think about a hierarchy of power and shit like that.
Well, you got to also understand there's a way, and we talk about survival. Just to touch on this, you can always go and get you a generator.
And that's what brought my awareness to, because I was like, damn. Because the people across the street, I thought they was running a snow blower, but I was like, no, they got a generator. And that's the next thing. Like, it just helps me realize where my weaknesses at and plan accordingly. Because you can grow your food and shit, but if you can't keep your family warm, it don't mean shit.
Hey, real. It's all a lesson. It's all a lesson.
Exactly. That's what
we got to figure out. We got to figure out how not to let this happen again.
Yep. It's like next year, have a generator.
Because obviously they ain't gonna fix the shit.
Well, I think they're gonna do what they can. I'm not letting them off the hook either, but it's this line that we live, this world we live in with all the technologies and the conveniences that we have, it's a very thin line because the demand, more, give us more. And you got a dense population packed in a certain area, right? I'm not giving them no excuses. I'm saying shit happens. It's Murphy's Law. Whatever can happen will. And so You got to
Just
be. You
like
got to
them
try to
cars
be.
Miss Moore is breaking us down. All that shit.
And just like with the police, you know, we got the police, but you still got to be like your first line of defense.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is showing me. Like, okay, yeah, it's good to have electricity, but you still need to be able to provide yourself with if they can't. So that generator's next on the line,
Right.
and then I'm
Have some gas on deck, extra gas on deck. And
hell
everything.
yeah.
Let me see. Shout out to y'all, Sharon Evans. She said, "Yes, sir. Definitely need all-wheel drive." Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. I learned that and my dad actually taught me that because he would have trucks and whatnot. And you know, this is another thing about this weather and this cold.
Yeah.
It made me appreciate my father even that much more because that man went to work every day, and he worked outside. He went to work. My father, this is too cold. I ain't going. It's snowing. I'm going to my shop. I'm gonna light my oven. I'm gonna melt some copper. Like he always worked, and I'm like, damn, dude. And he would leave early in the morning. So it just gave me more appreciation for how he was, you know, how he moved because he was a tough cat, man. I mean, he was out there all day. You go to his shop, I'm going right in, sitting right in front of the oven, like, damn, he outside working. He come in, you okay? I think it's you okay. He was outside. Shout out to Stephanie Bowles. She said dashing through the snow. That's right. I was sliding. I slid all the way to the liquor store, like do. And people were sliding and twisting, and I was just pulling through, like, hey, how y'all doing? Sharon said California build the homes to withstand earthquakes so we can make adjustments to keep the power on. Yeah, California, but they can't save everybody. There'll still be some collapsed buildings. I mean, they have changed the structuring of the way they design buildings in California, but some of them still fall. Tyson said, "Hey fellas, outlaw for life." Ticey, how you doing? How you doing? We gotta get Ticey and Samantha on Outlaw Radio because we were on a call to action, so we got to get them on. So shout out to Ticey and Samantha Collier. Cuzzo, Mariah, how you doing? Family? All enough for you. Ticey said, I got bricks in my trunk. My dad told me that. Yeah, especially when it's cold. You stop the slipping and sliding if your vehicle is balanced right. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
When I worked for Pepsi, we had I was a merchandiser, so I had the little Dodge pickup truck to meet the semis at the different stores and merchandise that shit. So we used to have pallets on the back of our flatbed because we had rear wheel drive pickups. So if you ain't had that weight, man, you was spinning out.
Yeah, he was done for. Yeah. And like he was talking about the 4-wheel drive on the floor, like my pops, the old trucks with the 4-wheel shifter right in the floor, like right by the gear.
Yeah.
It was old school.
With my
he
Jeep.
Drop it down like you're like, whoa, shit. What you doing, Pop?
I had a Blazer like that.
I had a Jeep Cherokee. I used to love
with
that
the big ass gear in the floor.
Hey, but you know what though? Hey, it's something what a lot of people don't understand though. Like with the 4-wheel drives, like a lot of people think you don't slide with 4-wheel drives. You know what I mean? You still can slide, like especially when you stopping. You know what I'm saying? People think because I got a 4-wheel drive, I can do what I got to do and just no, nigga, you still finna go sliding through that intersection.
No, the real thing that you get from 4-wheel drive is in when it's slippery, your back end is under control.
Right.
So when your back end, you don't see many spin outs of 4-wheel drive cars, and you turn because you got all four wheels spinning, so it's always gonna straighten itself out. But Kamar's right. You think because you got 4-wheel drive and you gonna do 50 up to the light and it's ice, you still going for a sleigh ride. You have anti-lock brakes. If you got anti-lock brakes and you know how to use them, you can let up off of it and they'll break, but they will lock up. If you got anti-lock brakes and you know how to use them, you can prevent a little bit of the sliding. Mariah, they're reacting to Dion saying not a fat one. Ticey said not a fat B. OMG. Dion said he gonna get him a fat girl to ride on the back of his truck. I don't know if y'all heard that. I'm sitting there like,
yeah, I heard that, man. I tried not to entertain the foolish.
Right.
I tried not to.
That boy is a nutty buddy, man. MC Tone said my electricity been off for 6 months. Damn. Damn.
Man, you need to pay your bill.
What up, cuz? What up, Big Ham?
Yeah, he need to pay his bills. Shit,
no, big old family. What up, Carl? He said, what up, Big Ham? He's the only person that calls me that, by the way. Shout out to Cuzzo. He said Big Mo Green pass. No, man. No. Rest in peace to Mo Green, man. Smooth dude, man. Smooth dude. Um, Mo Green, man. one time, one time I went to a gambling spot that he had, right, and it's full of these like real live gamblers. Me and Cuz were just me and my cousin. We was just riding. We was just bar hopping on a Friday night. So let's stop off over here. Went in there, and I don't gamble. So when somebody don't gamble and they get on the dice, they most of the time they're lucky. Man, I snapped the whole circle. And I'm talking so much shit while I'm shaking these dice and I ain't paying attention. I started looking around, and you know Harlem Nights in the beginning of the movie when dude get ready to rob the crap game. I looked around, all them dudes look like him, look like some robber motherfuckers. Cuz said, hey, hey, he got me up out of there, man. Him and Mo Green's like, yeah, look, cuz, calm down. I was talking so much shit. These dudes sitting there like, oh yeah. I was breaking them. I left with everybody money. Me and cuz continue club hopping. After that, we had a great time, man. Rest in peace to Mo Green. That's crazy, man. You know, you're getting old. MC Tone said they got bricks in their trunk. I got bricks for sale. Okay, he's selling bricks now.
Well, why your electricity off? Been off for 6 months.
right. Well, that's an interesting question, Kamar. If you selling bricks, why your electricity off? Right? I ain't want to pay in cash. Paris LaShawn, peace. He said, peace to his brother Shane Krumer from the Mile High Income and Flooded City. Frontline Black News, the revolutionary agenda, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, man. Happy life day. Ticey said, pay your bill, fam. Look, cuz up in the cities. What up, cuz? How you doing, man? How you doing, my brother? How you doing, man? I've been up there, like I said, Minneapolis with little cuz, man. And woo, he took me out to a bar one time in Minneapolis. It was so damn cold. I said, I'm never coming back up here after the month of August. Never. I don't think I've been back since. No, we went last year for Thanksgiving. But I lit up the grill. You know me. I'm gonna create some heat. Tyson Gossi, good question. Why your lights off? Why your lights off, bro?
He said he got them for sale. He ain't say they moving.
Right. There you go. Come on, MC Tone. Tell me you a hustler, man. Tell me you a hustler.
Man,
you ain't just sitting on that shit.
Wow. Hey, man, it is MLK Day. Listen, it is time. I want to have a conversation about MLK. And this is many different things. Let me just say to start, and I want y'all to chime in. First of all, there's a number, 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. Shout out to our sponsor, EPU Personal Defense. Go to their website, epusds.com. There's their logo, right? Put that up for a minute. Shout out to John Fletcher, who was on the show last week. Dope show. Y'all go check that out. It's archived on my page and the People's Network and on the Outlaw Radio page. But Martin Luther King, and for a lot of us, Martin Luther King is the first person that you learn about in school in terms of civil rights or in terms of a black person. The first one that they introduce you to in depth is Martin Luther King, right? I remember knowing about him from my mom and dad, who were older. So just knowing about him when I got to school, I already knew who he was. But in the books, in the social studies books, in the history books, there are a couple leaders that they introduced you to. And there's Martin Luther King, there's Benjamin Banneker, there's Frederick Douglass, and there's the Peanut Man, George Washington Carver. They tell you about those individuals. It's so much more they don't tell you, but they tell you about them. Now, what we got to understand before we criticize Martin Luther King on any level, and he's open to criticism like anybody else, rest in peace, is that he lost basically his whole family for civil rights. His brother was murdered. His mother was murdered in the church playing the organ. He was murdered. And so we talk about really a sacrifice being made. It's a very complicated thing for black people because it straddles this line of, is the way we, and I see people struggle with this to this day, is the answer for us within loving everybody and saying all people are good people. Hey, I love everybody. White and black people, we can get along. We're the same. No, it's love. It's nonviolence. No. Or do we need to be saying, which became an issue during his lifetime? Fuck them. Let's do us. It's us. If either you with us or you against us. No love for them. We don't give a shit about them. They want to be violent. We're going to be violent back. There's those two dynamics within the black community that still exist to this day. When we look at the media, the go along to get along gang, the people that we talk about affable Negroes on this show all the time, right? We talk about user-friendly Negroes. And we know all of the Cat Williams and all of the gatekeeping and all of this stuff, we know that's apparent here in Milwaukee and its media as well. If you are a black man who's speaking your mind, telling the truth about what the situation of what's going on with black people, and you're not going to say, I'm affiliated with this party or I'm affiliated with this organization, so I'm going to watch what I say, or I'm going to make them look good and I'm going to make them look bad. If you just walk in the line saying the truth is the truth, y'all fucked up, none of y'all is good for us, we need to be doing us, you will be isolated and ostracized. You will be quieted. You will be blackballed, right? And you will be surprised by some of the name brand Negroes in Milwaukee who play along, who go along to get along. Not trying to start no controversy on that. I'm just saying this is the dynamic that we deal with Martin Luther King, because we know for the majority of his movement, it was about peace and nonviolence and demonstrating. And then towards the end of toward the end of his life, he said, I fear I've led my people into a burning house when it came to integration. All right. I want to just put that out there about Brother Michael King Jr. And like I say, y'all jump in when y'all want to. But we say, what does Martin Luther King really mean to us now in 2024 as foundational black Americans? I guess that's where I'd like to start at. I would say, I think Martin Luther King represented a very intellectual angle for white people to deal with. Very articulate, very well-spoken, highly educated, for all intents and purposes, a child prodigy who had multiple college degrees by the time he was 17 years old, from a family that was pretty well off, because back in those days, you have to look at even black classism. His family was well off. And so they had some wealth. And so he represented a Negro who should be playing along, especially since he's a preacher, but he's going against the grain saying, but this ain't right. I can't be quiet about it. This ain't right. We don't always agree with his tactics, but I think he was headed I think he had his mind in the right direction. So when I say, what does he mean to me? I say, at one point, I think what he proposed to us was very powerful and very pivotal and very necessary. I don't, however, think that methodology necessarily works today, right? I don't think it works today. So that's what he means to me. When I say Martin Luther King, Kamar, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think first, he was an introduction, like you say, when we was kids, we in school, if you didn't have the type of parents that taught you about that type of stuff, he was an introduction, and at that point, just with that introduction, it was almost like inspiration for a child too. You know what I mean? As you get older, you start to learn more. But then I think when I look at him now, I see a man who found his lane in the revolution and worked it his way. You know what I mean? No matter what you do or how you do it, it's always going to be some people that's going to oppose how you do what you do. You know what I mean? Just do what you do. You dig what I'm saying? And I think he represented that. You know what I mean? Being able to get in your own lane and get serious about it and you know what I'm saying? And follow his path. He also represented, you say, he was the peace, you know what I mean? And then, you talk about peace and love. And then Malcolm X is more of the hardcore, you know what I'm saying? He represented that side, I think both were needed. But as a people, I think we have to find a middle ground in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like we can show love, we can be peaceful, but goddamn it, if you push us, we gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Like we still willing to get down, goddamn it, but we trying to go about this the peaceful way if we can. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's all needed. It was all needed, and that's what I feel like he represent now to me.
And let's not. I mean, black people. I know that the media will portray us otherwise. For the most part, black people are a people of peace. We're a peaceful people. Black people tell you, man, I don't want no trouble, man. I don't want no
Yeah.
bullshit. I stay to mind my business. I don't. But when pushed, right, and then we all know when
Oh,
placed in extreme situations, when faced with crazy adversity and all this kind of stuff, yeah, it comes out of us, and we tend to strike out, and we can become,
yeah.
really really dangerous.
We talk about affable Negroes, right? It's like, we are peaceful people. Before we came to this physical form, you know what I mean? We was peaceful. It was peace. You know what I'm saying? So we were peaceful beings first. So it's really in our nature to be like that. And we like to ask like why people be like that. Why you know what I'm saying? But that's really in their nature, you know what I'm saying? And they got, like I said, we gotta find that boundary, that line to draw. Where it's like you cross this line, we fucking you up. You know what I mean? And yeah. Well, we peaceful people, man, first.
Let me see. He said, "What's the temperature?" Hey, it's like -6, -4. He said it's -10 degrees in Denver right now. Y'all mountain bound. I mean, I'm guess y'all kind of we get cold up here, but when it get like this, you gotta hide, you gotta run for cover. God damn it, you gotta get in your igloo. He said MC Tone said he did 4 years in prison for speaking his mind, and pimping. He forgot about the pimping part. Um, hey, Chantel Gwen, how you doing? Rail, once again, you represent the young man on this panel. So, when you hear MLK, what comes to mind? What you think about?
uh, shit, we was brought up on the whole non-violence. You know, he was a man of peace. You know, almost like they held him like parallel to Gandhi, trying to
Who was a
show.
racist, by the way?
Right. You know, that's
A lot of people don't
that's the
know that.
crazy thing. You know, he didn't fuck with black people. He said we was savage and unclean.
He's a lawyer in
But
South Africa.
then they always try to parallel him and MLK. But honestly, to me, Martin Luther King just represent most people who brought a message. Like even in the Bible, every prophet was killed and then quoted by the motherfuckers that killed him. So you know, Jeremiah I think was stoned to death in Egypt. Isaiah was sawn in half. You know what I'm saying? Or I think he was sawn in half. But every prophet quoted in the Bible was murdered by the same motherfuckers that eventually started quoting them. So
Tupac was murdered in Las Vegas by some Crips, allegedly,
Well,
right?
that's the that's the whole story of I feel like that's the whole purpose of the Bible. The whole story of the Bible is so we can understand our journey. Even, you know what I'm saying? Like you are that. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what you should expect. And since you
whenever
expect
you
it,
stand
you
for
know
a
what you up
cause, yeah.
against, nigga. Keep going, keep swinging, stay in the fight.
Also, I think people got to understand what Martin Luther King did with leadership was revolutionary in the fact that instead of just a bunch of marches, just a bunch of singing and sermons, he sat down with leaders to affect legislation. He met with presidents, he met with senators, he met with congressmen, he met with people, and he was able to speak about how entrenched racism actually was in the structure of the government. To say this is the legal part of what you're doing. This goes directly against your Constitution and your Bill of Rights that you try to shove on us each and every day. So Martin Luther King was also one of the individuals, but he, like I said, being an educated man, being articulate, being well spoken, he was able to sit down and converse with those leaders, as opposed to some people who might have had to fire and who might have been able to sing a hell of a song, but if you sit them down in a boardroom, they can't speak to that. They don't. It's not in their lane, and it doesn't mean you're not intelligent. It just means, like Kamar said, that's not your lane. So another thing about Martin Luther King is that, you know, I think he was one of those people who was very persistent, and he understood that in order for anything to take effect, you have to be consistent and you have to be persistent. So obviously he stayed in organization mode. I mean, I talked about him losing his family, his brother, his mother, but imagine the effect it actually had on his home with his wife and his children, right? Like, and so I do remember this, how old I am, y'all. Forgive me. There was a Martin Luther King biography made in the late 70s, starring Paul Warfield, the late Paul Warfield. And I thought, in Cicely Tyson, and that was the one we used to watch growing up. And I guess it was like a TV series called King. And there was a part in there where he was home and he was playing with his kids, and he recognized that they didn't know it. They didn't, because he had been out on the road, and he says to his wife, like, what's going on? She's like, well, you never hear. So that's one thing. That's another thing. It took that sacrifice. But, then there's the religious aspect of it, right? And so what the Black church used to represent. So we talk about somebody who's revolutionary, but utilizing the beliefs and the whatever from the church, but still being aggressive and still being able to get something done. That showed you how powerful the Black church really used to be. Now, I would argue that the average Black church in a place like Milwaukee is nowhere near as powerful in the community as it used to be, especially at the Black church. Like but there's a situation where on most of your most troubled neighborhoods, there's 7 different churches, small churches, storefront churches, and they all exist in this same community. And I'd bet money. In some instances, I'd lose, but I'm willing to do that. I bet money that none of them really communicate with each other. I bet none of them, because my doctrine is different, or my denomination is different. Instead of them getting together, and shout out to the ones who do. Shout out to the ones who do. Shout out to the ones who do.
Hey,
they're not working as one.
Right. I feel like they're competing for the congregation.
In a lot of cases, they are. Come on. In a lot of cases, they are.
That's where the money at.
And also, what we see now, that is a great mistake. And I say this, I don't know about a lot of people, but there's no way there should be a separation between something like the Baptist, the Southern Baptist, and the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan, right. Minister Farrakhan came to Milwaukee and spoke from a Baptist church. And I do believe the pastor, and I don't know his name, but the pastor who engaged the minister got in a lot of trouble by people saying, well, you see, it's that old Negro. That's that affable Negro. Like, but what they gonna think if they see us friends with him? This is where being an affable Negro comes to bite you in your ass. And I hate to say it in such a cynical way, but that's what happened to Brother Martin. After a lifetime of saying peace, nonviolent, getting hit with bricks, attacked with dogs, thrown in jail, our government conspired and shot him in his face in broad open daylight, right? What you niggers gonna do now? And so that makes you once again kind of side-eye that whole nonviolent, It makes you kind of say, nah, because they ain't been able to do that to Farrakhan. Or I got to stop saying Farrakhan and say Minister Farrakhan. They haven't been able to do that to him. And I've heard him say, you tried, you can't kill me. You've tried and you failed many a times. So the methodology has to be a little bit more aggressive. See, okay. A lot of us with these churches, and I've seen this, so I can say if you go to church, this ain't really about you, but this is about you. I've seen Mayor Barrett come into church, a large congregation, and watch you Negroes' knees get weak. You go to smiling, you go to giggling. Oh, Lord, there go the mayor. Oh, mayor, we so glad to see you. And he walk around smiling and call me. He ain't answering none of your calls. He only comes in your sanctuary when it is time to run for office. If he's like just guest in that one Sunday, we get so happy. Instead of when he's in there saying, hey man, what's up with the Black empowerment? What's up with the reparations? What's up with the taxes? What's up with, we just, hey man, can I get a picture? This is where we're at in 2024. You're right, Chantel. He did kick down some doors peacefully. Listen, you can criticize his methods all you want. You can't say he wasn't effective, because he did move the needle for us. He moved the needle for us. She said he was a big advocate for unity. He found his passion and enthusiasm in uplifting our people. And I think at first he was in that all people kind of thing. And then I think towards the end, he realized this should have been about us. I've said this a lot of times, and I'm armchair quarterbacking because hindsight is 2020, but it should have been more about empowerment over inclusion. Because at this point, inclusion ain't shit. Our problem is that we have a lack of empowerment. And so I think they're focused because they set this whole thing off by boycotting the buses, right? Shut the whole little economy down. They should have stood on that and said, we don't want to ride on your buses no more. We want our own bus companies, right? Greyhound might be a pit bull right now. if we had done that. And it would have just extended itself to plenty other things within our community where we said, no, we don't want to go to your restaurant. No. I don't want to go to your restaurant if you don't like black people. You may spit in my food. You may put some shit in my food. You may piss in my drink. I'm just saying. Why would I sit at a lunch counter that you don't want? Please give me some of your racist waffles. And I don't know why. And I think there was a lot of black people who were saying, as a matter of fact, that the Southern Christian Leadership Coalition or whatever it was, there's the separation between the students. So you get Stokely Carmichael starting to snick out of that because the younger people was like, nah, this is bullshit, which ultimately leads to the formation of the Black Panther Party for self-defense, right? So there was a fraction that broke away and said, nah, go ahead.
We can't forget though, man. It don't matter how you think, what you do, you know what I mean? Shit, you still a nigga. You know what I mean? Whether you peaceful, whether you violent, it don't matter. You know what I mean? You just still have to be fearless in your role in this revolution thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just it.
And most affable, user-friendly Negroes eventually get a nigga moment.
Yep.
They usually get a white man get it. He reminds you, hold on, nigga. So all that shucking and jiving that they be doing and all that tap dancing, eventually they say, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this to me. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She said, good evening, my Outlaw family. Let's make it do what it do. She said, I grew up in the heart of the real change, 1960 to 1999. There was a lot of shit that took place. I've marched and been very open-minded when it comes to injustice, but the needle has only moved a notch since 1968. We're still fighting for economic fairness and justice. I thank y'all for this teaching tonight. Thank you, Mama Jenkins. Paris said, good evening, Mama Jenkins. Well, I would hope, because like I said, instead of complaining about the holidays, right? People say, fuck, why we celebrating Martin Luther King Day? Well, as a black person, it's more of a reflection than a celebration, right? Because I celebrate life. I celebrate life every day. But I reflect on a day like today when I didn't have to work, and I am getting compensated for it, by the way. And I can say, okay, like I said, what is in 2024, as a black man, as a father, as a member of an impoverished community, what does Martin Luther King really mean to me? And that's why I ask everybody else that question. Please feel free to comment in the chat room or give us a call, because we talk about this dream. And I also feel like the oppressors are very, very smart, because they'll take Martin Luther King and wave him in your face, They'll always try to divide and conquer us, right? They'll do that right now. If I blew up in one way and Kamar blew up in one way, there's going to be somebody who magically appears who says, Kamar, fuck what he talking about. Look, I could take you to another level. Listen at him. He's so aggressive. Come on, man. You're bigger than that. It's always that. And it's never going to change. So, of course, they were going to pit him against somebody like Brother Malcolm. Malcolm had a split with Elijah Muhammad, right? But Clarence 13X had a split with Elijah Muhammad. And then you get the Nation of Gods and Earths from Clarence 13X. You have to know the evolution of our leadership. I will say this. There hasn't been a whole lot of movement since 1968, Mama Jenkins, because they systematically killed the leadership, right? You talking about, I say this all the time, Chicago would be very different if the chairman, Fred Hampton, had not been murdered the way he was. It would be very different. It would look different in terms of how our leadership went. If Malcolm is allowed to evolve as a leader, and unfortunately his demise was brought on by some unfortunate circumstances, but if he's allowed to thrive, our communities would look a lot different, right? If Martin Luther King is able to come full circle and say, okay, we did get this integration, we have gotten some traction, but there's things that need to be done. As a matter of fact, Martin Luther King was quoted as saying the South was bad, and Selma, Alabama, and Birmingham which they call Birmingham, was bad. But he said Chicago scared the shit out of him. Up north, the institutionalized racism. He didn't say shit, I said, but he said scared me more. He said that scared him more when he went to Chicago and was confronted by the racist whites in Chicago. He said that was way more scary. So we grew up in this environment. Imagine Martin being alive when the crack epidemic hits, right? Or does he further become watered down like a Jesse Jackson, who was a very powerful, staunch leader, or Al Sharpton, who over the years become more affable, more user-friendly, so you can get sponsorships and things of that nature. It's the evolution of our leadership. You talk about the Bloods and the Crips, right? Those should have been, those were the Panther babies, the Panther Cubs. They should have been, but we got somebody like Karanga with us, right? There's that division. Since y'all want to talk about Kwanzaa, look up your boy Karanga, right? Government cooperative agent, plant. Say what you want, but I like Kwanzaa though. Cool. Happy Kulijagula to you. Happy Kulijagula. Whatever it is. I know. Just lost 15 people. It's all good. But yeah, Martin Luther King, man. You think about it, man. And his books and there's courses but I think America tries to commercialize everything. I hope his family owns the right to all t-shirts and keychains and merchandising, and I hope they own. And there still has not been a good definitive Martin movie yet. Y'all better believe it, right? They'll show us the life of some gay civil rights blacks. They did Bayard Rustin.
Yeah, I just saw that movie. That shit fucked me up, dog. I just watched that movie about 2 weeks ago, man. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
They do such a good job at showing us what they want us to see, and we won't do the deep dive. Because if they show you 5%, you better know it's 95% more up under that. You got to dive up under the iceberg. That's why they say tip of the iceberg. And I think Martin Luther King is just that. I think they present him in a way as this really passive, affable, user-friendly Negro who just loved everybody. What that really translates to is, I love white people. Because that's who had their foot on our necks, was white people. So when when they use the speech, I had a dream, little boys and girls, it's all, yeah, okay. Maybe that dream was realized in the 70s when we were the recipients of 220 busing, going out to suburban schools, getting bussed out of our community. And we was holding hands and playing with little white boys and white girls for a minute, right? But then what happened to our own resources in our communities while we was out holding hands with little white girls and little white boys? MPS is shitty. And MPS with $1 billion budget, I hope my sister Beverly Williams is listening. With $1 billion budget, they have voted to put a referendum on the upcoming ballot for a $225 million financial situation. $225 million. 220. You got $1 billion budget. MPS has lost money. They don't know where it's at. We just helped blow the lid off of that with Gerard Randall, right? Was being given $1.5 million a year for years. But now you come back to us on the tails of a tax increase, on the tails of $100 million commitment to a stadium, and say, we want $225 more million. Have these motherfuckers lost their minds? If you a leader in this city, have you motherfuckers lost your minds? You still have no solid economic development plan, and you continuously come to a community. 38%, I keep saying 38% of the black population, which makes up the majority of this city, lives below the poverty line. These are what people say now, oh, Martin would be ashamed. No, I think Martin would look and say the economics is what's bad. And that's a bad voice, but I think he said the money's where it's fucked up at.
And that's when they killed him, when he was starting to organize talking about the money and the 40 acres
labor
of shit like that. Yeah,
labor down there involved in a union dispute in Memphis, and also he was speaking against the Vietnam War, which we know as informed individuals that when there's a war, there's a group of people in America who make a whole lot of money. Weapons manufacturers, right? Even the person who makes the motor for the tank, or who gonna ship the oil. And these is all old, rich, white benefactors. Even to this day, why you think we in Ukraine and Israel at the same goddamn time? Look on the stock market and watch these fucking weapons manufacturing companies. I make one chip in a missile. Orders go through the roof. Hell, we got action. We got action. We need more missiles. We need more guided bombs. These are the people. This is what's wrong with the people who lead this country, because they got their hand in the cookie jar. Because their families and themselves, and all they do is turn and help the next man. Turn and help the next man. Right. That's the problem with cronyism. That's the problem with our Chitlin Circuit media in Milwaukee. I said it. Chitlin Circuit. All you user-friendly, think you cool with the white man predators of our community. Poverty pimping. Trying to control a narrative by controlling the people who deliver it. I get it. I understand. I see you and I raise you. Because I'd like to put a bet down that the truth will always win. Over all the games that you play and all of the grandstanding and peacocking that you do, and you can dress up in bow ties and tuxedos and give each other awards, and the community still suffering. Still suffering. So I had to throw that out there. Well, I didn't have to, but I did, because I'm that type of person, right? But happy MLK Day. Y'all tell me what y'all think about MLK. As I've gotten older, because I went through a phase when I was extremely militant and I was vocal about, man, forget what Martin Luther King and that dream and da. And then I got to the point where saying, no, but you got to understand what he actually did, how he actually had to move, how intentional he was, how focused he had to be. And so it gives me a greater understanding of his leadership now, as opposed to just somebody who's gonna say fuck him. The next thing I heard Dion say was fuck Black History Month, which is another thing that's very hilarious to me.
Hey, niggas don't like to celebrate shit.
Oh, you like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the July. You like July 4th. Right. You celebrate July 4th, but you don't celebrate Black History Month.
Or nothing black, because white people said it's a holiday.
Right. Can't even get no ice cream.
White people said, all right, you niggas can have February. Now you don't want to celebrate it. But niggas always want something. Like, man, why they don't ever do nothing for us? We ain't got no holidays. This is a pagan holiday. This is a pagan holiday. You can't celebrate that. And then they name a holiday after a black man, and you niggas don't want to celebrate that.
Well, I think it's easy to point at somebody who's doing something and talk about what they ain't doing. You feel me? Like if somebody's doing a lot of shit, like if he plays 10 instruments and I say, but it's 15 instruments in the orchestra, so fuck him because he can't play all 15. Right? We're quick. We look for flaws. We don't look for reasons to say, you know what? Let me support that.
Don't celebrate that, nigga.
Right? Fuck him. He didn't do shit for me. He didn't do shit for me. He didn't do shit for me. And a lot of us say that without even understanding how the Jim Crow South worked in the first place. And I think it's very funny because, once again, I was raised by a mother who was from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and she would tell you about Jim Crow South. Real. My mother was born in 1942, and she didn't leave until 1959. And every time we opened our mouth when we were young, I wouldn't have my mother told me you'd have did exactly what the fuck they told you to do. You just sat your ass down.
Hey, you think if them niggas didn't win the Civil War, you think it'd be slavery it'd have been slavery across the whole country?
That's what the issue was, allegedly.
You know what I mean?
That's what the issue was.
You know what I mean? And then now think about all the work, all the walking he done in the name of this movement. You know what I'm saying? And all the works. And then for somebody to say he didn't do nothing for him.
Well, see,
you people. What I'm saying, like he was. I feel like he was a big piece in that. You know what I mean?
He was the piece.
You know,
it was the piece. There's the people say it was leaders before that, and it was leaders before that.
Right.
But the way he did it changed the game.
Right.
Now the problem becomes if 50 years later you're still marching in the same way he did for the same shit he was asking for. That's the fucked up problem, and that's the case. A lot of us is just marching still today for some of the same shit they was marching for then. And that's all they do is march. And it's like, well, it does take more than marching, but it takes marching as well. You got to create awareness and then you got to attack, right? And so You don't get to sit down with a legislator and it's not a known problem. Like, why should I help you? Don't nobody know about this shit. Now, if we were just on TV, 200 deep in front of your house, everybody know about it. Now you want to talk about it. You got to create the awareness. So, you know, and this is all my personal opinion. I don't want anybody, you know, Outlaw Radio, what we try to do is just tell you to think. We don't try to tell you what to think. But I think it's very important that we look at things in a bigger scope. We get tunnel vision. Like, I think it's hilarious when I hear black people talking about fuck Black History Month. Fuck. Like, I hear people talk bad about Malcolm X. I hear people talk bad about Minister Farrakhan. There is literally nobody on this planet who I haven't heard somebody say something bad about.
Straight up.
Nobody.
All you got to do is type their name in on YouTube.
Just Google them.
You're going to find something. You're going to find somebody with a video.
Right. You're going to say Martin Luther King cheated on his wife. Then what they say the other day, the movie Rustin may have insinuated that there may have been some homosexual activity there.
Man, God damn, that fucked me up, man.
Right.
Fuck, that was a hard blow to take.
That's why I don't watch certain shit, Kamar.
Hey, listen, man, when I turned the movie on, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be real. I didn't have no clue who Rustin was.
How? We talked about him on the show.
I didn't have no clue who Bayard Rustin was before I watched that movie, I'm saying.
We talked about it on the show plenty times. When that movie came out, we talked about it.
But I don't know. Maybe I didn't. You know what I mean? When we talked about it, and after I watched it, I remember I spoke on it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe we talked about it a while back before, and I just never caught it. But yeah, I just saw the movie 2 weeks ago, man. And like I said, that was a heavy blow, man. God damn, not Martin Luther the King.
Well, Mike, who to say?
But you know what? The movie I'm gonna tell you what pissed me off about that movie, though. Like, why would y'all, at this point in time, why would y'all make a movie like this? Why y'all didn't do that shit back in the 80s?
Because what's prevalent right now.
You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, we got a lot of prominent black actors playing roles in this movie.
Right? Yeah.
A lot of them.
And didn't give a fuck on whether
it's almost like you niggas condoning this shit.
That's right. They didn't care if it was based on truth or not. They win.
You the niggas who Cat Williams talking about.
Exactly. That's why I'm talking about the chitlin circuit. I connected straight to how many on the media today in our local media, and I don't listen to them, but how many of them gave you the same old I have a dream and talked about love and how much much we need to black people, we got to love more in a city where we are treated like dogs by our white counterparts.
I feel like those actors should have stood up and been like, no, we ain't pushing that narrative.
I bet you if you take some Latinos and you do a Che Guevara movie, or you take some Cubans and do a Castro movie, they ain't gonna just go along. If they do, they're gonna be called out by their people. They're gonna say, no. Y'all gotta tell this the right way. But like you say, sometimes brothers and sisters just trying to get their foot in that industry, and they got to do what they do to get a check, man. So, it's all good though. It's all good. Like that's why it pays to know the truth. It pays to know the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't. You can be entertained. Some people watch TV and I just want to be entertained. I just want to be entertained. Some people don't personalize what they're watching. They don't process what they're watching. Same thing with the music. They don't listen to what it's saying. And this is why they're so easily glamored. This is why. Because, everybody's not thirsty for knowledge. And this is one of the issues that we have in our community is that there's people who think knowledge has no value. So if you ask the average person, why don't you like Martin Luther King? I love to hear their arguments. I love to hear why they say, when it comes down to it, it's really stuff they either heard that ain't true or concepts that they don't really totally truly understand. They don't understand that the blueprint for us boycotting anything was set by Martin Luther King and his group, and that's what made him stand out so much is because they shut this city down with the busing. Okay, you don't want us on the bus? Well, Rosa Parks wasn't the first one to get arrested. Okay, but the first one to say, y'all know what? Since she got arrested, and people say she was an NAACP member, and this is why she's with certain people. So I tell you what, they shut down the bus system, and the powers that be down there said, "Shit, we losing money, man. We got to get this together, man." You got to let them sit where they want on the bus. And nowadays, the irony is we don't even want to sit on the front of the bus. I never wanted to sit on the front of the bus when I was a teenager. I wanted to be in the back because I haven't been on a bus.
I used to think about this shit when I was in school too, man. Like, damn, that's crazy. We all rush to the back of the bus.
Yeah, man.
Farther back, the better.
Right. Why I'm sitting in the front? That's where old people sit at. But if they'd have told us you can't sit up front, then I think we'd all said, the hell you preach.
Watch this.
Right. Sitting right behind you. What up, bus driver?
Hey, they like, y'all can sit anywhere. All right, fuck it. We don't even
want to sit back.
No more.
Right.
Go to we sit back. There if we have to.
That's where we go. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She said that's what I'm talking about. We still having meetings in the basements and marching in the streets for some of the same causes. Beatings and shootings, jobs, housing, education, and economics, just to name a few. Yeah, but you look at, like, I was reading about how the Domino's pizza delivery person was killed. He's delivering pizzas. He gets shot elsewhere. And these are recent murders. Young man wants somebody's designer glasses, starts the argument, somebody gets murdered. The Scamily, this group of individuals who was busted with $500,000 worth of fraudulent checks and credit cards, and they're robbing mailmen and postal workers. In one case, even killed one. These are all us. They're all perpetrated. Their crimes perpetrated on us by us. It's really FUBU. Fuck us by us. Fucked up by us. Right. and so it leaves you kind of stuck, because those people who do want to get out and affect change, it's not as many as it should be, because you got so many that's going in a different direction. I don't think it's possible until we really stop harming doing this to ourselves for us to really move forward. And I'm not one of those black on black crime people, because I think crime is crime, right? But I do believe in
it's what you just said. We got to stop doing this to us.
Right. It's antisocial behavior. It's anti-black behavior. When you as a black person hurt another black person, it's not black on black crime. It's anti-black behavior.
Yeah.
You're a racist.
You anti-us, nigga.
Right. You're a racist. Right. And it takes some reprogramming.
Because you harming you bring harm to your people. Cool.
That's right. It takes some reprogramming, deprogramming, because I know people who live in certain areas and under certain circumstances where they say, man, I can't afford to not be this way. Well, sometimes to change how you move, you got to change where you move, right? You got to remove yourself from certain environments, and then you won't have the pressure to live that way. I'm not saying don't be proactive in protecting you and yours. That's a whole different conversation. I'm saying being a habitual line stepper, somebody who gonna take some shit that I worked hard for because they ain't willing to make the same sacrifice, right? You know what I mean? You see me with a new car and you say, instead of me working hard to get me one, I'm gonna take his shit. What sense do that make?
The whole logic of guns and shit is like, we acquire the guns so we can protect our community in case somebody come in this motherfucker trying to fuck us up or fuck with our shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people get it and they looking at it like I'm protecting against my neighbor, and we shouldn't even be thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like, this mindset is all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be looking at each other to harm. So we shouldn't have to be thinking like I got this heat so I can protect myself against my man's next door.
Made me put this on your ass, boy.
You know what I mean? Whereas we supposed to be acquiring weapons so we can protect our community, because that's what it's about. It's about community. You know what I mean? And when it's time to go to war, the men step up and go to war.
It's supposed to.
That's how it's supposed. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Mama Jenkins says that was right by her house on Sherman and Congress. She said, yes, we are fucked up, but Kev, we didn't do this kind of shit when I grew up. We got our ass beat. Yeah, morally, I think we're more compromised now than we were then. But I think Mama Jenkins, and this is just based on some of the things that my mom told me about how Milwaukee was when she moved here in 1959. And she told me about some of the areas that are ghetto now were ghettos then. And where there's dangerous people now, where you get robbed, beat up, shot, stabbed, there was a risk, they're still the same areas. And she would say, and she would call out memories when we would drive through the city and say, I remember so-and-so got stabbed there. That used to be this, and they closed it when she got stabbed. Or I remember they jumped on a guy and beat him to death over here. Or people used to get robbed over here. And I used to be like, it was bad then too? And she would say, shit. And I know Detroit was bad then. And my dad would tell you stories from Chicago when he was in there in the 60s and the 50s saying, man, people used to get fucked up. So, but I do think it was less common. I think it was less common, right? So I will agree with you on that, but I don't know if it's because of the ass whoopings though. Because I don't really think, we discussed on this show about the whole mantra of the only way you can teach a black person something is by beating their ass is based in slave master ideology. How did slave masters train their slaves? They beat their ass. You want to run away? I'll cut your foot off. Right? You looking at this white woman? I take your eyes. All right, they said you whistled at a white woman, so we'll murder you. So other black people won't even get it in their mind. So we pass that right along to our kids, like, I can't get you to sit down. I can't get you to act right. Instead of me trying to figure out what's wrong with you, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with a belt. That's very symbolic of you standing over somebody hitting on them with a piece of leather, ain't it? It's like, does anybody miss the symbolism in that? I don't. It's not lost on me that, damn, that's kind of, that's kind of slavish, right? And we say white people don't get their ass whooped, but black people do, because that's the only way you can teach a nigger something. And so I think being more concerned about being parents, like being an active parent, building a foundation with your child, you won't have to whoop as much ass. Unless you got one of them kids that just like, God damn. But then there may be some issues with that kid. And you know how we are with mental health. We don't want to admit little Billy, something wrong with his little ass. So we just going to beat it out of him. No, you're just making him worse. You got to get this motherfucker some help. She said, Kev, each day I have to be locked and loaded over here now. You've been here and I was never afraid of getting out of my car to go in my home. And I fear just walking from the driveway to the door. And what's sad is that's such a beautiful neighborhood. And it always has been such a beautiful neighborhood. I grew up on Capitol Drive, some of the most beautiful black neighborhoods that you'll ever see. Responsible black homeowners keep that grass cut, the snow shoveled, keep the yard up, and they'll get on your ass if you ain't taking care of your yard. And that goes to show you also that we as black men are not doing enough in our communities because we have elderly people or elders who are scared to move about because they don't know what's coming. And you do got these young wolves who will run up. I'm gonna take her purse because they think stealing a purse with a credit card is gonna help. That's the weakest lick in the world. You finna do 50 years for stealing $35. You ain't got enough to pay for your commissary. It's just this. It's the economic part of it. When you starve people out long enough, you'll bring out the savage in them. You hear all these stories about people crashing in the mountains in a plane and they have no food and no resources. They end up drinking urine and becoming cannibals. When you start starving people, they start getting savage, right? Seen Lord of the Flies and little white boys trapped out there on the island. Them motherfuckers went to killing the shit out of each other. That's not accident. That's not accident. That's a psychological method of warfare. And we fall prey to it. We won't stop doing it. I don't know what it'll take for us to, maybe this young generation that we got is just lost and we got to burn the candle out. We got to let it burn out. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that, but I think there's a certain age group of black people right now in certain areas. They're not going to turn it around. They're not. They committed to it. They said, nah, fuck that. I'll blow everybody away. That's Martin's dream, man. That's what he'd see today if he came. Think about Martin Luther King riding around Memphis today. I feel sorry for people in Memphis, Tennessee, black people. There's a whole war.
Man, you get caught in a drive-by or some shit.
in Memphis, Yo Gotti's brother is murdered over the weekend, y'all. Now once again, I live in the pod version.
After he left the funeral.
After he left the funeral for one of his friends, for a long time family friend. But there's been so many people murdered over the Young Dolph's situation, and it's all young black brothers getting money who can't get along, who are destroying themselves in the heart of the South. And if you live in that community, people always tell me, like, man, you need to go to Memphis in May. Memphis is the shit. Man, it's so beautiful. Tennessee is the shit. And I'm like, I don't think I want to go there. Not right now. I don't know. I watch the first 48 too sometimes, which I hate. I hate the first 48, man. I don't know about you. I hate the first 48, man. It's like, come on, man. But I'm just saying, that was a joke. But I'm saying Memphis is very dangerous right now. They already got the pictures of the brother laid out on the curb with gunshots to the head. And this is just ongoing. All the 5, 6, 7 brothers murdered and countless more over the last 2 or 3 years over young Dolph. Allegedly. I don't know. I don't live down there. So I'm a little older than the young Dolph generation. Juice Lady, what's cracking? You said, yeah, let's do it, and then you was late. What's going on? Her mic is muted. You got she hung up like fuck you, kid. She'll be back. Juice Lady will be back. I ain't got time. Not on MLK Day, Kevin. I ain't got time. But yeah, man. So I think if anything, you take the time to look at, just reflect and say, hey, man, where are we at as a people? Where we at, right, in 2024? Where's Black Milwaukee headed in 2024? It's election year. What's going to happen? We got a bunch of vacant seats. And Kamar, you know, for years we were saying ain't nothing happening until his current leadership is gone. For the most part, they're gone now. A lot of them, whether it's going to be this federal investigation that's allegedly supposed to be coming. I don't know if that's what it is, but a lot of them are gone. So to put the right people in now is more important than ever. But do you think black people are paying more attention to this election than they have been in the past? We're going to have the same old voter turnout.
Well, I think it's the same. But what I feel like is it could be new people coming in, but are they going to just be signing these bills without reading what's going on to get the checks? You know what I mean? Are they going to just fall in line, or are they really going to stand on what they telling us as far as what they going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like most people talk. They talk that talk. These politicians, they talk that talk. They tell you what they want you to hear to get in office. But then when they get in office, are they going to just fall in line? You know what I'm saying? Or are they going to really stand against the machine? Because that's asking a lot. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this is how they get paid also, by having certain bills passed and all that, having bills passed and all that shit, signing off on these bills or whatever, putting their name.
It's all about relationships.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, are they really going to be picky? And then we also know how much money it costs to even run.
Just to run.
You know what I'm saying?
Just to run.
We got to go even farther. You know, we got to figure out how can we raise money for these people.
It all comes to
you know what I'm saying? And this is where the problem is going to come in. That we got to figure out how we can raise money for these people so they don't just have to sign off on anything. So they don't have to depend on getting money from other people who may not be of our interest. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's where I feel like the problem gonna come. But I don't, as far as voting, no. I think black people are more open to figure out what else can we do. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think they're willing to go that distance.
Juice Lady in the building. We can see you now.
Here I go.
Right. Right. Eventually, she'll get here. Eventually,
it's like an hour and 18 minutes late, but
right.
I've arrived.
Right. I was only an hour late.
Yeah, I've arrived.
That's black
44 hours early for Wednesday.
Black people talking about he gonna say I was late. Well, was you late? Yeah, man, but that wasn't shit. It was only an hour. Right.
I'm here. Y'all see, I'm here.
Trip off that little funky ass hour, man. Fuck you. Happy MLK Day. Happy MLK Day.
That's why I was late. Y'all know I be alternating my kids every other week. So today was my day to get my boys, and then I got to do my bedtime story. So I'm like, do y'all know why y'all didn't have school today? They're like, no. So we have fun and watch the story about MLK. But then me, I got to be like, but what they not telling y'all about is Malcolm X, because Malcolm X don't get a day. So then I got to tell them about Malcolm X. And they like, what? So white people still killing us. So we have to get deep, and out here I am. Bedtime got real.
Parental duties done. Welcome to the show.
Gotta let them know.
It does not stop. Mama Jenkins said, my husband do not want me to carry, but in today's world, you damn near have to be safe. I've been robbed at gunpoint, and that's a real scary thing. So now I would rather for it to be them getting in the chalk line instead of me. Self-preservation is a must.
Yeah.
And I don't tell anybody not to but to be responsible and to be aware that just because you got a firearm doesn't mean you'll win, but it increases your chances. But to be trained on how to use that firearm is the key. Because to have it and not to really know how to let it sing is something. I'm not saying that's you, Mama Jenkins, but a lot of people don't need a gun because they so scary. They'd be done shot everybody except the right person. Dion said Trump won the Iowa caucus. Does that surprise anybody? I don't think it's surprising. Once again, these things play out the way the whole Trump thing is going to be funny. It's going to force everybody to make a decision. Why would you go back? I don't care what you say about he ain't Biden and this and that, but why would you go back to somebody who started an insurgency and tried to initiate a coup and admittedly is a part of basically trying to take over the country? Heaven knows what was going to happen if all them racist ass white people
man,
got
I
in charge.
I watched the interview with Cat Williams did. Somebody asked him, what do we think about this election, right? And Dog was like, this shit weird. It's like vote. I mean, it's like going back. It's like ex-girlfriends. Like, do I want my last my ex-girlfriend, or do I want my girlfriend before that ex?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Why would you go backwards?
You know what I'm saying?
Why would you go backwards?
Horrible.
And I don't know. Like I say, black people, we good for drinking the Kool-Aid because they got a lot of us saying no. Because it ain't about, we're gonna vote for Trump because he was anti the establishment. Let's find somebody else that's anti-establishment. We gave him his chance. He almost fucked this motherfucker up.
With some money or with somebody that they gonna support. I mean, I'm not saying we need to go for Trump, but so if it was a black person that would have did this insurgency, how would we feel if Obama had done such a thing? If he like, man, look, we just, y'all just, I ain't saying be there, but come up to the Capitol and hey, some shit went wild. So how would we feel about him? Will we be like, man, that's my nigga? Or will we be like, oh my gosh, out here trying to take over the country?
Well, we're cheerleaders for foolishness, so I think most of us would have cheered for if it was Obama. We would have said, "Damn, he finally did something black, right?" Because we was waiting and it never happened and shit. I don't know if he thought singing Al Green in his tan Easter
he get niggas shot up
and shit, but it didn't. So I don't know. We
was waiting on Obama to do something black.
We was waiting the whole time. I was saying, "Okay, it's coming any day." I voted for him twice. Like it's gonna happen.
Damn, twice, girl?
Yeah, I voted for him twice.
You had no choice.
All right.
I did that.
You had no choice. But
I had a choice.
Shit.
I mean, you got a choice.
Like, you know what I mean? You're going to vote for the black man or you know what I mean? Vote for Hillary. Or you going to vote for the, you know what I'm saying?
Or it's a vote missing. It's all
and then, we got to remember too, man, they ain't going off of our votes. They going off of what the state want.
Yeah.
Jesse Parrish says Wisconsin Republicans favor Sheriff David Clark for Senate. What's your thoughts on that? Listen, David Clark is a clown. He is a clown. And the fact that now, because of you Milwaukeeans, I hope you realize that all the times when he was sheriff here, he ran under a Democratic Party. He's a fake Democrat. Then I'm glad he finally embraced his republicanism. Okay. But he's a clown. Come on, man. This is a black dude who said racism don't exist no more. Right? Like this black dude, when like in terms of on the coon scale, Sheriff Clark, if it's 1 to 50, he's a good 51. If they elect him to the Senate here, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. But I would hope black people in this city say whoever the Democrat running against him is, we need to get, and I got to check out who he's running against. I did see that he's running for Senate now. And he wanted to be a Trump Negro so bad. He was so bad they wouldn't even fuck with him. Right? They was like, nah, we cool on you, nigga. Like that. How can you be such a coon? White people won't even fuck with you. Mama Jenkins says she worked the shooting range. Yeah, and that's what you need to do, honestly. You don't got to go every weekend, but if you got a firearm, exercise it, take it out, go in there, let off a few rounds, clean it, keep it maintenance, don't just have it sitting up for years rusting. Then when you need it, you're like, this motherfucker won't shoot. Right. Well, you ain't touched it in 15 years. The car won't start. The battery gone.
Yeah.
Chantel said that was wild. He is a clown. Yes, he is. Come on, man. Trump is. I mean, at this point, anything that he was doing that was revolutionary is he's kind of done away with that by his antics and shit, right? Like, so, he's shown himself for what he is. I'm not pro Biden, but I'm damn sure not team Trump. I'm not ready for it to get back the sentiment. We still deal with Karens and all this shit because of Trump. We still dealing with the aftermath of that bullshit. Naracha in the chat room.
Wait, are we blaming Trump for Karens now?
You said what?
Are we blaming Trump for having Karens? Is that
hell yeah?
So
I am. I don't know about nobody else.
I think he helped. I think with that whole mindset, he brought him out the closet more.
It became
I don't blame him for Karens because you know what I mean. That type of behavior been around. You know what I'm saying. But I think he just brought them out into the forefront more, where they more they more outspoken.
That behavior is way more prevalent since Trump's presidency.
Yeah, definitely.
White women and white men have always assumed this audacity that they are the rule. I'm going to make it a citizen's arrest. And all that shit.
Yeah, they've always that was their idea, right?
Right. They've always been like, I'm gonna call a cop, say he's out here playing his music loud. But they hadn't got to the point where you see him walking up on people, slapping their camera, and God damn it, and all this. And that shit came with Trump. That shit, that steroid applied to it. That's racist steroids. It came through Trump. So I blame him for it. I mean, somebody gonna say, Kerry, you don't know what you're talking about. It's cool. That's cool. You don't like Black History Month, so fuck you too. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. That was very ununified. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Naraja said, I try to tell people we got bigger issues to worry about other than being fired. They're out here trying to Trump us. The man ain't even been elected yet, and his campaign is infueled with hate. Listen, if one thing you can guarantee that if Trump does become president, I believe he'd snatch everybody from overseas military-wise. I think he would. I think he'd say, well, we got to look at what he's invested in, unless he got some money in the weapons manufacturers and the jet manufacturers and what's they call Lock and the people who make the airplanes, Lockheed and all them. I think he'd snatch them. Go ahead, Rail.
Oh shit! I was just gonna say, do you think he would stop these immigrants from being like coming in and being transported to? I've been getting a lot of Colombians, man, but I guess. From what I was told, and they be coming in with their ICE papers too. And I was told that when they getting caught in Texas, he like shipping them to Chicago, and then some of them find their way here.
Yeah, Trump gonna shut that down. I mean, he's gonna go after them first because that's gonna polarize white people. Because white people is always down for anybody who says they want our jobs, they want our jobs and our women. White people gonna get up then like, I gotta go vote. These guys want our jobs. That's what it's always been about. One of the main things that they didn't like about us is they just figured like we was gonna take all their jobs and all their women, mostly they women. Let me see. This is my sister Chantel. She said, not enough of them were charged for anything, but if they were Black people on that grass, the National Guard would have shot them down like dogs. And he's on the ballot. Wow. Yeah, that's the hypocrisy in our democracy, right? It's brothers who went to jail for having an ounce of weed right now. They can't run for a political office. This motherfucker tried to instigate a coup, and he back on the ballot. Now, just go to show you how. Now, this is what Martin would be upset about. This is what Martin would say, oh, my goodness, that's some bullshit. I said I was going to stop doing his voice, but I can't. Mama Jenkins said he said his goal is to be a dictator. I can see that. Now that I'm pissed him off, too. And charged him with felonies, and old Rudy Giuliani and he had to file bankruptcy. Imagine Rudy Giuliani, who put the RICO Act on all the mobsters. They say he's the one who brought down the mob, organized crime. For him to get charged with the same thing and get a judgment against him to the point where it's hundreds of millions of dollars and he has to file bankruptcy, that is some shit right there. Who did he piss off? He pissed off was it Epstein that he pissed off? So he pissed somebody off.
I didn't know Epstein was in the news like that many years. You know, to be a person I not give a fuck about that. I thought it was just one of the recent things, but I was chilling while the snow was happening and having a conversation. So we turned on the documentary, and that nigga been dealing with that shit since like 2003, getting locked up for sheesh.
Yeah, you keep it undercover. That's what I'm saying. People act like Bill Cosby was the secret. Like I remember in the early 90s, Bill Cosby's daughter came out and wanted money because Bill had stopped paying the bills. No pun intended. So we knew Bill was the pill man. We knew that back then. We act like we didn't know R. Kelly. We knew Leo was 15 in 1993, 94.
They needed Netflix to get mad.
We knew Epstein was pedophiliacing years. People in Hollywood knew that the Weinstein brothers. It was known. It was known, common knowledge. This is what Cat Williams was talking about. That this stuff has been known for years and nobody's ever said nothing to try to expose it, because when they do, they say, well, take this money. Or they get you in a compromised position where you can't speak against it. That they got you on video getting banged out and they say, oh, you want to keep talking? Motherfucker, don't have us release this tape. Like, oh shit, I'm finna retire. I like to announce my retirement from immediate. Like, damn, dude, they made a movie in a minute. Right? So that's one of the biggest things that extends itself to a lot of different things. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just about comedians. It looked like comedians, but we look at the political structure here. Who's really getting in office? A friend of a friend. Somebody gets a handout, right? And they become one of the new Negroes, one of the new name brand Negroes. We got a couple families here that people supported for years just because of their name, the Cogs, right? There's a bunch of black families here where people just, that name is familiar because they name brand Negroes, right? Jesse Pear says, yes, the dump as in human shit. And we want to make that perfectly clear.
Pear's voice. Oh my gosh.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. He said he will close the border and deport the illegal immigrants. He will.
Yeah.
And then if we don't look, next thing we know, we look around, it's gonna be some shit deporting us.
Dang.
Right? Until he get it to all white people. Then that affordable housing in Waukesha and Kenosha will go up fast as a bitch, and you'll be out there until you figure out they got you isolated somewhere, and they are now sharing water with Milwaukee. So it's even more ways to cut your ass off now. Right? Talk about a power grid that can be shut down. Y'all want to keep singing Negro spirituals all night? Put them damn barbecue grills out. Hit that goddamn power switch. Everything go off. Motherfucker say, oh shit, my Wi-Fi gone. Crazy over here. Trump did try to overthrow the government as far as I was concerned. I'm standing on that. I don't care.
Like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I probably would if y'all give me a chance. I probably, hey.
I'm too old to be overthrowing the government.
Okay, but then you know that's why you got plenty of followers, and you like, hey, you guys, you know, you get them to do it for you. That's what.
They don't fuck my last days up. I ain't spending my last days in no goddamn federal prison. I tell them, sit y'all ass down. I'm not going to jail for you motherfuckers. I ain't got that much time left. Shit, you won't ruin it.
We got you, Kev. We'll do it.
No, we won't do shit because I'll be resigning in the morning. You motherfuckers went to talking the wrong. If I go in a room right now and the wrong conversation come up, I get up and leave. If I go in the room and I'm with a bunch of supposed Negroes that's leaders and this, that, and the third, and they just, I say, oh shit, time to go. I close the piano. You won't have me on your tape. Well, at that point, Mr. Barnes left. That's right. Naracha says people in Hollywood and the criminal that justify this system ain't ready for the federal melanated intergalactic inads, bringing 2,000 on 2,880 spacecraft, able to board 50 beings each coming out of the mothership called the Crystal City to reclaim their children, which are only 144,000 who are spiritually and physically ready. If you keep and build your faith, your contact will be relinked. That is my fault for
Read.
reading a paragraph that big from Naracha.
That's like when you reading a paragraph in a book and your ass get lost reading it. You're like, damn, let me read that shit again. Read it again, Kev. What?
And it's in the chat room. If you want to read it over, you can go and see it. He's talking about some extraterrestrial occurrence that's supposed to happen for Black people, and there'll be judgment. I guess. I guess his own personal, what they used to call it, the resurrection. In the Bible, when you read Revelations, what's it called, Rail? The rapture. Rapture.
Yeah. When he talk about the 144,000 though, that sound like because like that's like the Jehovah's Witnesses say that only 144,000 people gonna go to that city and shit. So I don't know if he, like Christians, they say the 144,000, but then right after that verse it says, and then I saw a multitude. But usually people who focus on that 144,000 usually like in that Jehovah Witness realm.
Yeah, never. I'm never been down with them.
Intergalactic 50 beings on each spaceship is all right. Okay.
It's the new Noah's Ark for Black people. It's the 62. The 62 used to run on Capitol. Used to be all Black people on it.
That's yeah.
Jesse said, "Are Black people still going to vote blue, no matter who, in 2024?"
Bam. You know they will. No, they will. Just because it's Democrat, they will. Indeed.
Well, now is the time, because it's an election year, where they are going to appeal to our senses so much. Their love for us now will become like the. You see more of them now talking Martin Luther King. What a great American. What a listen. If that's love, and we're all human, and this is, and then they get in office and they be like, "Fuck them niggas." But most of these people were raised by parents or grandparents who looked at Martin Luther King back in the day and said, "I hate this nigger. He's gonna fuck this country up. This is part of the problem." You still got a lot of white people who look at anybody who's critical of this country as some sort of rebel rouser. I got a neighbor who every now and then, I don't know if he does it to remind us. Every now and then he'll put a flag up. He'll put a Trump flag up. He's a white dude. He'll put a Trump flag up to say "Make America Great Again," and we just laugh at him. Because we like, but who's voting for? Like, most racist people are poor and ignorant, right? Rich people aren't. They're not racist. They are supremacists. Like, they don't think anybody who doesn't have any money is worth them. Poor, ignorant people are the ones who are racist, right? Because rich, racist white people say those people. They don't say nigger. They say those people. Oh, those people. Look at them. Look at them. They're animals. Those people. What's going on, Dion? I'm sorry. I almost said your government name.
Whoa! Boy, what's wrong with you tonight, boy? You been chewing on that devil's tobacco, ain't you?
Nah, not yet, man.
It's too cold. On the other chat today.
Hey, but what I was about to say, when I said about Black, see, you gotta understand. Like, I be sending you stuff, man. I don't know if you be peeping it out. You know, it's just like food. You know, in our food, we eat food. Our body take whatever we can use, the protein and the nourishment, and then it shit out the rest. So sometimes when I send you stuff, you can envelop what you're gonna take, and then you can shit out the rest. But when I said about, see, you, I don't know. Like, sometimes me and you head buff on this. White people allow things. They allowed us to have the first Black president. That was like the other day I was watching about Governor Doug Wilder, the first Black governor of Virginia.
Right.
You know, see, that's the thing. Like, we not in total control the way we think we is. You know, white people allow things to happen. You know, they allowed us to have the first this, the first that, or they allow, believe me, them people kill Gaddafi. Them people kill Saddam Hussein. You know, if they wanted Minister Louis Farrakhan to no longer exist, so they allow him to stick around. You understand? See, the white people don't want no threat to the white establishment, to their superiority. You feel what I'm saying? And whether it's poor white, rich white, whatever, white, they feel like they are superior above anybody. Like me and my friend, we always have a disagreement. I feel all white people are racist. I really do. And they might not be racist to, like you said, nigger this, nigger that, this nigger. But white people don't like to be wrong. Have you ever corrected a white person and you know you right, them motherfuckers clench their pearls? They like, whoa, oh my God, this nigga, and then they'll swear up and down to God. And then they might go do some research on it. They ain't gonna tell you was right, but they might say something, well, what you said, you know. But they still gonna try to put their emphasis on it. White people have to, I don't give a fuck if you working at McDonald's. They a shift lead. Or they the lead motherfucker that flip the burgers. They always got to have some position of authority and power. They have a superiority complex. You understand what I'm saying? So when I said fuck Black history, I don't want no one to allow me to have history when people that look like me, we are the history of the United States of America. Like when you said, like earlier when you started off about the Civil War. The Civil War was solely based on slavery. You could go back and look at the documentation of Virginia and South Carolina, and they broke it down. They said, hey, we ain't fit to be out here doing this.
But Dion,
we want to.
Dion,
yes.
Let me ask you a question right there.
Yeah.
If
go
you
ahead.
look at it, it's about slavery, but it's about the economic impact of slavery. Right. Because you got to understand what the North did was there was the start of something called the Industrial Revolution in America. In which
I understand that.
Okay, so it's slavery is only the issue because the South's wealth is threatened, and they're saying, if that's how y'all gonna do it, hell, we about to lose. Look at what they had. They had free labor, right? They had free labor. So it was an economic issue, and so slavery just happened to be at the forefront of it. But also, I would say this to you: them naming February Black History Month does not allow me to study Black history, because studying Black history is part of studying history for myself and for anybody who is associated with me. So by them saying February is allocated didn't mean that they're allowing me to do shit, because my knowledge of Black history is deeper than February, and there's a lot of other Black people who are aware. My mother knew about history because she lived it, so she didn't wait till February and say, "Now let me tell you what was going on in Mississippi." Every chance she got, she told you about. Yeah, and I remember in 1960 something when they did this, especially with Milwaukee. My mom marched with Father Grappi, so she would tell us about marching across the 16th Street Viaduct, seeing all the white people with the bottles and the bricks and the rocks. Yeah, but I didn't. It wasn't February that allowed me to learn that. So if you feel like they're allowing you to do it, that's your own perception. I'm not. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge that month because that's a month that they said, okay, you niggas go ahead and celebrate. I said, okay, you don't need to tell me twice. But it's not because they're allowing me to do anything. It's because this is a month that's
to be honest with you, Kev, I really don't feel nothing behind them too much because I have a vast knowledge of them. And like I told, and like I was telling my supervisor at work today, I said, you don't know nothing about me. I know everything about you. Ain't that kind of dangerous? I said, I know how you think. I know who you look up to. I know everything about you. You don't know nothing about me. Nothing.
I know where your kids
you don't know nothing
play.
about my people. You have no idea about me. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes when we be sitting up there and not us as far as, us, but Black people, and I don't even think we really understand the gravity of slavery. Like I was sitting thinking, and I'm driving down the street, and I said, man, could you imagine that you have a child, and I hear how you talk about your son and your daughter, you admire them very much, and your children was born into bondage, into slavery, and then white people always be like, well, I didn't do it. You're guilty for what your forefathers did because children that had nothing, an innocent baby that didn't even have a chance to nurse on his mom's tit, is taken away and raised to be a product of slavery. And this steadily went on and on and on and on. And they always be like, well, you need to forget it and I'll never forget it. Never, ever in life. And like I was telling somebody today, just like in 1776 when Tucker was the first nigga they killed, well, I want to be, if it ever break down. I want to be the first nigga killed because I'm getting to the point where I'm willing to die for
see,
this shit.
there
I
we
ain't
go.
talking about just going out there. Wait, hold on. And I ain't talking about just going out there starting no shit. Wait, hold on. I ain't talking about just starting out there going for no shit. But it's gonna hit the fan one day.
What you just
this
said
is gonna
selective.
tear America apart. What do you mean I'm being selective?
Because you will say they allowed me, well, not just me, but they allowed us to learn about Black history. But then you reference Crispus.
Bro, they allow everything.
Hold on.
And if you don't think they allow something,
but you reference Crispus Attucks, who they tell us was the first black person. That shit is the most fucking set up, lie, fake ass story ever in the hit. That was some shit they spent to get other nigga slaves to stand up and fight when they needed some help. And you don't believe nothing they say, but you believe that. That's selective.
Man, I was just saying, you're right. You're definitely right. I don't know. I wasn't there in 1776.
Right.
But his story,
a black dude who was enslaved was the first one to say, hell no, freedom or death. You believe that shit? Now, did they probably shoot him? Wait a minute. Did the English soldiers probably shoot him because he was black and he was standing there? He was probably trying to leave like, oh, shit, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Wait a minute, nigga.
They probably shot that nigga in the ass.
Yeah.
That nigga was probably running.
Stop.
And, back then they had them musket bullets. But I'm just saying, though, they tore that man ass out, man. Man, you know what? I'm still waiting on motherfucking AAA to come pick up my truck, man. But, yeah, though. So it's just deep, though. But, like I said, as far as with Martin Luther King, I just feel like the integration part, I didn't like that.
Okay.
I like Martin. He was a cool guy. But I just felt like why do we want to be accepted by these people so bad? Right. Like, it killed me. Like, these people have been trying to do everything that they're trying to tell us. We don't want you at our table. We don't want you, nigga, we don't want to invite you to the barbecue. We don't even want you to shovel shit. You know what I'm saying? But I never thought about this, though, neither, right? When them white folks be like, you niggas should have stayed in slavery. The other day, a couple of days ago, I was listening to some Sherwin was saying, them honkies didn't want us to stay in slavery because if they did, they wouldn't have no job. So they just be talking just to be talking. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
but I'm about to hang up.
Northern white people definitely would have been. Southern white
man,
people would have preferred it that way.
They be tripping, though. But I ain't going to lie to you, Kev. Them people, they allow it, Kev. Now, if you don't think that they allow nothing, that's like I always hear people be talking about MPS. Oh, why do you think what makes you think the white man wants you to compete with his daughter, his son, his niece? They not gonna educate your kids. I work at a school every day and I see how them white folks and these little niggas up there, they crazy. I know a lot of them loud babies and them ex babies. I be like, damn, these little niggas. One little nigga come to the line. One little nigga come to the line and he just stare at the trays. Get your ass on out this line, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like if people realize and even with us as fathers, because our sperm is used to fertilize it. So we using drugs, but you guys always are pushing, it's weed, it comes from the earth, it's a drug. It's a drug, regardless of whatever, But these kids out here is just crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad, but these white people allow everything, man. They allow me to go to work. They allow you to have a job. They allowed you to get an education. Because believe me, if they ain't want something to go on, it don't take nothing for them to stop it. That's just like when we was talking earlier about the blackout. Them motherfuckers will put us in a concentration camp. It ain't nothing we can do about it. Nothing. Like you was just talking about earlier how black people would be like when they was down south. And you know what? It was a lot of black people that probably would have fucked somebody up. But if they would have fucked one of them white people up, they got to worry about their mama. Because Billy Bob and Earl coming through, they got to worry about their daddy. They probably got to worry about their sister. So a lot of times it wasn't, the Ku Klux Klan and those white people were threatening people's family members, man. And you love your mama, you love your sister now. So, imagine walking down the street. I was talking to my friend earlier. I'm going to get off. I've said that a couple times. But, I always go down south.
You have said that a couple times. You have said that about 3 times.
I was just in Montgomery. Alabama in November. Montgomery, Alabama was the capital of the Confederacy. So could you imagine walking through there during 1955 or 52 and a motherfucker just kick you in your ass and say, nigga, get your goddamn ass out of here and shove you and push you down and spit on you. Like, that's what them people did to us, man. And we supposed to sit up here and say, well, all white people are not bad. I love them. And God, let's live together. And let's let the Mexicans over here. Look what the Mexicans are going to be us. Those are us, man. Fuck the Mexicans, too. But I'm gone, though, man. I love you niggas, man.
Ooh.
On the real.
All right. Shit. It's a lot.
That's a lot to unpack.
What the Mexicans do to Dion?
Mama Jenkins said is Sean MIA. Sean is probably preparing for his own show tomorrow because they have the Cupcast game members live from the game room with him and Mick. So he's probably I just spoke to Sean before I started the show. So Sean, shout out to him if he's listening, but he's probably preparing for their show tomorrow. Jesse Paris, let me catch the chat room up because I see I'm way behind. He said, I'm pro tangibles. Are any of these candidates going to provide anything tangible to the FBA? That's what I'm on. That's always the question, right? Is what's going to be the deliverable from these people who are like pandering for your vote? Courtney, Jesse said he and Lady Shay say hi.
I said, hey, Jesse. Hey, Lady Shay.
I didn't see. I ain't got down yet. I'm just going through it. Shout out to Deacon Mikey. What up, man? What up, Mikey? Said, what up, brothers? How you doing tonight, man? How you doing? He said, okay, hold this message for real. Throwing misnarratives when you speaking on a multitude. 144. Understand that's a pale beast perception. King James actually in it, still speaking on only Judea, not all of Israel or Israelite. Y'all can read that. I don't have time for all of that. I don't have time for that. I'm not. That's not what we're talking about. And I don't want to get lost in the narrative. I'm not trying to silence anybody, but I don't want to get lost in the narrative. Jesse says they put black faces in higher places, and it's all symbolism at the end of the day. Gatekeepers. He said, I agree with the caller. All white people are racist, white supremacists until proven otherwise. Damn. I don't think that they're all racist. I think some of them are unconcerned and unaware. I really do. I don't feel like all white, because white people are allowed situations where they can live so far away from us without us around, where they never have to even deal with us. So they're unaware. They're totally unconscious to what's going on in our community. You think people who live in the Upper Peninsula understand what's going on in Milwaukee when we start talking about gun rights? Somebody got an echo. I got an echo from somebody. At my phone. Let me make sure I'm turned down because I will go to muting mics. Okay, that might have been me, but no, they don't care. And I had this conversation with Mandela Barnes when he was in the state legislation. He was a state legislator. He was a state rep, and he said, you know, a lot of it's racism, but a lot of it is just this misnomer because they live in a rural community where they ride around with their guns in the back of their pickup trucks. They hunt, they fish. This is what they do. Mm-hmm. When I say, well, we want guns to be legal in this state or gun possession to be heavily regulated in this state, they don't understand why, because they don't understand that we can't, in our community, we got a problem with guns being used to kill each other. I didn't feel like he was making an excuse. I felt like he was being transparent about what he's dealing with when he talks to the reps from up there. Like, I don't get it. What do you mean? They can be so far away from us that they can just act like our problems don't exist. Let me see. He said, I feel the same way, White Dion, about them cave folks. Know more about you than you do about me. Well, I like when Dion said that, but I think about, like, I don't think white people think in the same terms as us, because white people utilize logistics. So while you say I know more about you than you know about me, because you're mostly a statistic to him. So he'll name off generalized areas like, well, let me guess your neighborhood. Let me guess the economic situation. Let me guess, you know, in your community, the quality of the schools. That's how they define you. They don't just say, oh, I know his cousins and his sister, or I know where country he originated from. No, they say, oh, you're African American, correct? You live in Milwaukee? Okay, well, let's look at some of the statistics. That's what we represent to most white people, statistics. We're just numbers, because they don't really have to deal with us unless they want to. He said, this dude speaking like physically slavery is over. You know, this conversation about slavery, are we still slaves? We've had this conversation before too. How come when I call you, you never answer? Well, first of all, because you do shit like that. I call you, Kevin, you don't answer. And because I want to keep the show focused on what we're on. I don't want to start talking about spaceships and shit and islands, and that's not what we're on right now. Not what we on right now. Said just jokes. I ain't get you in a while. It's all good. But as soon as you say something to me about answer the phone, that means I'm not answering it. I'm one of those people who I do what you tell me not to do all the time. Yeah, but don't do that. I can't wait to do that shit when you tell me not to do it. I be like excited about it. Like, ooh, I can't wait to do this. Shout out to Earl Henning. He said in real life we need to do something for ourselves and not the BS that we're doing now. He said, can you answer or am I outlawed to call in? I don't know, man. I have to manage your conversation because sometimes you get a little spacey. And it takes the focus out of what we're talking about. It's already over a lot of people's head. I don't want to confuse them even further. To start, Shay said they're going live in 90 minutes. Feel free to tap in. Ewok says you're doing too much white splaining. Them motherfuckers know what's happening in our hoods. They don't live under rocks. Who said that they don't? I just said they look at us as statistics. They know what's statistically happening in our neighborhood. They can tell you all the crime rates. They even tell you who you vote for. What dude said that night? 89% of the voters, black Milwaukee voters, vote democratically. Is that white splaining? Or do that just make? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm white. I don't have to make excuses for white people. I don't feel like I do. When Dion said they allowed you to get an education. Do I need to argue that they didn't allow me? I did it on my own. I went to a white college. Of course they allowed my black ass to be there. Like that's okay. Sometimes you got to get in and get out. Sometimes you need to break in, get what you need, and then go back into the field. I don't run America. My people don't run America. My people don't even run this city. My people don't even run their own community. So what's your alternative? They allow you to drive that truck. They allow you to go to the job you have. And so he said, I'm white splaining. I don't define. Courtney, you the Google person. Explain white splaining for me. That's a new one.
I'm like explaining for the white folks or to them. Hold on now. Let me explaining for the white folks.
White splaining. And I think if all black people understood how the game was executed on their back, don't you think we'd have more who resisted it? So is it wrong for us to speak to each other about how they actually get to us? Go ahead, Courtney.
So white splain, So it is a verb used with or without an object. So of a white person to comment on the minority experience or explain racism to a person of color in a condescending or blaming way, as to point out accommodating behaviors that the victim of racism might have adopted to diffuse interracial conflict. You want me to say that again? You got lost?
No, I guess I am white splaining then.
All right then.
I guess I am. I didn't think I was being condescending though. I thought I was really telling people how it was. I don't know. Anybody else on here feel like they white splain, or is it just me?
Probably.
I don't know. Is that bad to do? Is that bad to do? Is white splaining now bad to do? I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought the duty of the civilized was to teach the uncivilized. I thought that was universal law or something like that, Kamar.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, hey, first of all, we got to be talking about something. It's a talk show.
All right.
Earl Henning said they would never care about us until we care about us. Fuck who don't care about us. Right. Well, I wasn't giving people a reason to love white people. He said it's just me. Okay. Well, that's fine. I can take that. It's not like I haven't been, you can call me what you want. That don't bother me at all. That don't bother me at all. For people who I know don't understand what's going on, they need somebody to tell them. So if somebody needs to white splain to do it, then I guess that'll be me. But I'm not being condescending to black people. And I wouldn't tell black people they don't understand they're being discriminated against. I think sometimes they need to understand how they're being discriminated against. They don't understand how their tax dollars that they pay are used for things other than what they should be used for. They don't understand the lack of investment in the infrastructure of our community. So somebody got to light the fire. I just feel that way. I did want to talk about this too. Y'all pay attention. We talk about legislation all the time. there's a bill floating through Madison right now, and it may be passed already, and it may be not. It's AB 413, and it's called the Gain of Function Research Prohibition. Do you all understand what gain of research is? And this is gain of function. I'm sorry, gain of function research. This is you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Gain of function research is when large universities who are supposed to be doing research on different things biologically or medically, like the University of Wisconsin-Madison is a research university, right? They're universally lauded for the research, the labs. They was involved heavily in STEM search. So when it came down to COVID and all its variants, there's some concern amongst Republicans, and this is a Republican initiative, that the universities were allowed to experiment with these potentially pandemic causing viruses, and their experiments made them more contagious. Their experimentation mutated these things more, which led to some of the things we see with COVID right now. And so what they want to do is limit universities' ability to take something like that could be viral or that could be a bacterial disease. They don't want them to be free to research them anymore. And they don't want them to be able to utilize gain of function research, meaning let's see how contagious we can make this. Let's add this to it and see. We're gonna put it in a placebo and see how much more powerful it is. So this is a bill that's going through Madison right now, and it's a Republican agenda. So, but it points to what a lot of people have said about the COVID-19 virus and saying this was manufactured or this was planned or this was conceived in a lab, and we've always said, well, it's something. So have they discovered that there was some sort of situation where a university was playing around with something that got loose and on accident, like or somebody stole it and spread it, right? So I just think it's very interesting that now there's legislation to say, hold on, because you got universities that do cancer research, high blood pressure, sickle cell, all these kinds of things, but now they're saying, well, hold on, well, y'all doing a little bit too much with these viruses. Kamar,
I was just gonna say, I don't think it got loose or stolen. I think it was let loose.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think it was more let loose, like more of a planned thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe so. I mean, maybe this is the reason why now all of a sudden the
would never
legislation.
know. You know what I mean? But I think I think it should be more of an emphasis on why was it created in the first place?
I think they did come out like about a year ago and did acknowledge that it allegedly was from a Wuhan lab that I think they said Fauci allegedly had ties with for research and shit. So I think they eventually did find proof of that after Facebook flagged everybody for misinformation. You know, like even now I shared some shit about the Surgeon General of Florida saying how, you know, he wanted just evidence that that some DNA ain't riding in with the mRNA into your cells or some shit. So he trying to get them to stop using it in Florida because he's saying, you know, really it was like a swindle because they were in like a state of emergency. They was able to push this shit without adequate research. And now, even though the emergency is over, now I'm starting to hear spike commercials. What, you know, get the spike vax. And it's like, wait, the emergency over. Are y'all going to do the proper research that y'all supposed to do for that shit?
There's always questions. There's always questions on, you know, what our government is actually up to behind our back when it comes to biological research, and, you know, what are we actually test subjects for, right? How much of what we ingest on a daily basis is an experimental type of situation where they said, let's add this to the food. Like I heard Cat Williams talking about the fries, the French fries from McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it. And at first I was laughing, But then I thought about it like that is true. I've never encountered anybody who's been able to cook French fries. Not saying you can't cook good fries. You say I made some good ass French fries, but nobody's fries taste like McDonald's.
I heard they put a little peon in the grease.
That's because they genetically modified. Like McDonald's has a proprietary potato that
That's
they
what he was saying.
genetically modified. Is bigger than most potatoes because McDonald's want their fries to be uniformly long. But because it's modified, it's not as resistant to like disease and pests because it's not really like natural type shit. So that's why when he was saying how they blanket it with a slew of toxins to kill everything, that was real because it's not really a naturally occurring potato, so it doesn't have any like natural defenses against disease and shit. So they really have to put them motherfucking potatoes to the side.
Plants have immune systems also.
Yep. So they gotta let them off gas for weeks just to handle like that shit real.
Right.
So that once again, that made me think about because I've even heard them talk about changing the oils that they used to cook fries in years ago. And so we start talking about the meat that they're serving us in order to fit mass production. Who knows what you've tried? What kind of experiment?
Hey man, you ever think about this? You know, we talk about genetically modified vegetables and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how come we don't ever think like the meat, even the animals are genetically modified? Because like all the animals we eat, that people eat are domesticated. Like, you know what I mean? Like the cows we eat, them ain't the cows you're going to find out in the wild.
Right.
The pigs, them ain't the pigs you're going to find out in the wild. The chickens, them ain't the, you know what I'm saying? Like, so even that's fucked up already from the jump. Look at other countries, they eat wild animals that run free and shit.
Well, I thought that was a designation of them saying free range chickens or grass fed beef.
But even still, like the animal itself, like, you know what I mean? At some point, it had to have been wild because you don't find spotted cows in the wild. You know what I mean? Moo, motherfucker.
Is it a such thing as a wild cow?
You don't see packs of wild cows just roaming pastures.
What I'm saying? Where do you see wild cows?
Well, look at like in Africa. Africa, they got different species of cows and stuff like that in Africa. Different species of deer, different species of animals that they eat. You know what I mean? That they really catch in the wild. But here in America, we eat the animals that ain't even in the wild.
Exactly. They put a cow, I believe, is genetically modified. I feel like
right. It's genetic. It's a genetically modified animal.
Yeah, that's not something that was just
already. Pig. It's not a wild hog.
Right. But I was talking to my homeboy the other day, and we was talking about just different shops, and he was like, "Folks, you know, if I'm gonna go anywhere, I'd rather go to the Asian market." He was like, "You know, when you step in the grocery store, what do you smell? It just smell like nothing, or like bleach. It ain't that you smelling the fish from the back. It ain't that you smelling the fruit. You don't smell anything. Where we supposed to smell something. Shit, the strawberries, we're supposed to smell something. Right. We don't smell anything when we grocery shop. So that's a sign of shit being fucked up."
Or, you know, I know that there's a service that you should get to get your drains cleaned for them to come out and take, like, because if you got spoiled meat, right, that's going to dominate over everything because the spoiled meat will kill any smell. So Lena's, I hate to say this, Lena's, when it was on Capitol, when they came in place of Cole's food store, you walked in there, it always smelled like rotten meat. And then I found out later that they didn't want to pay for the service. It was just trying to wash things down the drain through an incinerator. It's a service that you're supposed to get to come and really service your drains to clean them out and remove that smell.
What about the fruit, Kev?
You got me on that one because I don't smell when I'm in the produce section. I do not smell strawberry. I smell onions.
Yeah.
I smell, I smell potatoes. Like you can smell a raw kind of potato smell, like that dirt kind of earthy smell. But I don't smell strawberry. Well, I guess if I'm standing by the strawberries and I bend over and I could smell them, but you're right. Why don't you smell? Right. Well, you got a bakery.
It seems like it should smell fruity in the produce area.
You would think, but you got a bakery. You have meat in the back being cleaned. You know, I don't. That's crazy. Now you're gonna have me in Pick and Save looking weird in Metro Market. Like,
Why the fuck I don't smell nothing?
I don't smell no cherries. I'm staying by the cherries. He said just because this is Ernest. I said Ernest. He said just because they don't see us daily doesn't mean they don't see us. I can guarantee you that people like I went to school in North Dakota, and there's towns in North Dakota where there's never been a black resident, and they never see a black person unless they look at television or one passing through, such as myself, right? And so when I say they don't see us, they don't. They're totally oblivious of us. They don't care. When they see us on the news, they say, well, you know, good thing I don't live there. Talk to people who live up north about Milwaukee. You know, say that's fucking crazy down there. I'm glad I don't live down there. Motherfucker, you live in Shawano.
Right. I knew somebody from Kewaskum, and the only black person they seen in real life outside of BET was a dude known for having a long coke nail. But you got to ask yourself, why is this one lone nigga living in Kewaskum? You know what I'm saying? It's like what he running from? So no, they don't. It's like I honestly don't have a problem with anybody, color, whatever. Like I don't like ignorance. I don't have like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't like ignorance. I don't like inconsiderateness. You know what I'm saying? So like I've never really had a problem with anybody because of a color or race. And then when I talk to the person from Kewaskum, you know, you will get that like some white people have that oblivious ignorance. Like, I don't understand. Well, why would you want to be poor? Why don't you just get a job? Like, they literally don't know. Like, there are shits in place that makes it difficult. Like, they don't understand this. Like, the average white person is a pawn in the system's program, just like ignorant niggas is pawns in their program. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ignorance is ignorance. And they all do their part to help the system because they're not aware that they're a pawn of the system. You know what I'm saying? So when you get confronted with the ignorance, if you want to take on that duty, you can help, bring light to what they were ignorant on to change their perspective or anybody's perspective, black, white, whatever, because it's difficult explaining to a people that benefit from an oppressive system about the oppressive system. Like it's hard as fuck to explain to a white person about white privilege, just like it's hard as fuck to explain to a woman about the detriment of child support against black men. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't see no difference in the obliviousness of the oppression to people who benefit from whatever oppressive system that is.
Ernest said more white splaining, real. We have technology now.
I mean, I'm just being real. I'm not ass hurt. I'm not one of them people, white people. I ain't never had to do, like, to me, when I hear motherfuckers do that shit, it's like bitches that be screaming misogyny or black dudes that it's because I'm a black man. Nah, man. You giving motherfuckers too much power. Ain't nobody did shit to me that I didn't let them do. So I'm going to grab my nuts and do whatever the fuck I need to do to where they can't oppress me instead of bitching about it.
That's right.
And first of all, I'm going to quit saying I got an oppressor.
Right.
Yeah.
No, shit. I've been able to get good jobs. I bought me a house. I'm still busting moves in spite of this. I understand the system is there, but whatever bump in the road I experienced because of the system, like a smart, capable motherfucker I am, I'm gonna figure the shit out till you start.
It's always a counter move.
Exactly. Like whether I gotta do it legit or not legit, they ain't gonna slow shit down for me.
Right.
Okay.
It's always a counter move.
I was gonna say nobody's ever done anything to me that I couldn't control.
I mean, niggas done more than
that I couldn't stop them from doing. So me, in terms of what they've done to our community, I had no control over that. So being placed in a scenario where you're in an environment where we're treated less than, but you can choose not to accept that as well.
With less opportunities.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I can't hate a motherfucker for how they look. When I got jumped, it was niggas that did it. When I got robbed, it was niggas that did it. Like, I'm not that nigga, because if I really wanted to hate motherfuckers based upon my experience of them, it'll be other niggas, not white folk.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh, shit.
even if somebody else had a better route to get there, you know what I mean? I still got to pull my motherfucking pants up and do what the fuck I gotta do to get there anyway.
I didn't want to do none of that shit this weekend, but I had to grab my nuts,
Right.
dig my van out, get my family to safety,
Right.
then bring my ass back home shoveling shit.
Or you could have stayed at that crib and said, "Man, this some bullshit. These white people,
bullshit. They trying to keep me down.
Man, we cold."
No.
You could have did that. You could have did it. He
They
says,
trying to make me freeze.
right. They want me to die. Ernest Walker said, "I dig being your own man. I never blame no white man, but I refuse to white-splain."
Just like I tell my daughter, you could be pitiful or you could be powerful. The choice is yours.
Right.
What's going on, Ernest?
Dig this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not using. Look, don't use the platform to try to motherfucker twist my words and shit. I'm not saying
Whoa,
that you did.
whoa. Hold on. No. I ain't twisting shit. Your comments is in the chat room. I put what you said up on the thing. What you talking about? Use a platform to twist what you saying.
I'm talking about motherfuckers talking about the white man this and the white man that. I never mentioned no white man, but about
Who
holding me
said you
down.
talking
And
about?
what's white explaining?
You know what I'm saying?
Am I trying to give justice to the white? Like, I ain't never tried to defend nobody.
All I'm
every man
saying is, yeah, that motherfucker do hold motherfuckers back. God damn
if
it,
you want to let them hold you back, let them hold you back, fam. But they ain't holding shit back for me.
Go ahead, Ewok.
That's right.
Or did he hang up? I hope he
did. About no white man holding me back.
You went out.
I ain't complained one time. I just made a flat out statement. But then a motherfucker made my statement seem like that I said something about white men holding me back. I didn't mention none of that shit.
I didn't hear nobody making it sound like anything. I thought you made your statement.
I said you can either be pitiful or powerful. You take it how you want.
There's no connection to that to white explaining.
But when I say motherfucker white explaining and shit, that was when real started talking about black man did more than white man did to me. That's still some more white explaining this shit to me. Man, we don't need that shit, especially on MLK Day, and I'm out.
What is white explaining?
Well, it's Courtney kicked it. Courtney, you still got it up?
I want to hear Ewok.
He hung up.
Yeah, let's get his definition.
That's all that matters right now.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, like I said,
what's his perspective?
For me, I'm all about communication, right? Everybody has their own thing. The only way I've ever been able to get anything done is by talking, right? That's 90% of the success I've had in my life came from me using my mouthpiece, right? And so when it comes to discussions like this, if we're going to dissect racism, because I think it has to be dissected for a lot of people, because they are in environments where this knowledge ain't available, like in a digestible format. So if that's white explaining, I could rock with that, but I didn't think what you said had anything to do with that.
I feel like since he's the one that used that term, the only perspective that matters is his perspective.
Like, what does he
That's
feel?
Why I'm asking him what is his white explaining? Like, I mean, I ain't being offensive or taking no offense, but I just want to know his perspective because maybe we taking it wrong.
I didn't take it I went by the definition. That's why I had Courtney. Ernest, feel free to call back and explain what.
Yeah, what is white explaining?
White supremacist system.
He said RWS is a group sport, not an individual. Hold on.
Yeah,
Ewok,
you back on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you my definition of white explaining. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those motherfucking thin lines that niggas cross. You know what I'm saying? When they be trying to say that they for everybody and they this and that, and then you know what I'm saying? It's kind of throwing your own people under the bus. When you sit there and you sit there and bootlick the police and shit, talking about, well, you shouldn't have broke the law then and shit. And then you know what I'm saying? And then it's especially when white people try to tell you what the fuck is going on. It's even worse when black people do it. But when white people do it, they got a way of white explaining their way out of what they did. Well, look here, you know, there's been a lot of drug activity over here, and then the police said they're trying to white explain their way out of why they pulled you over, knowing you know what I'm saying, then they find out you legit did a motherfucker. You got your license and your insurance. You handed it over to them, and you say, well, why did you pull me over in the first place? And they say some whole ass shit like, well, there's a lot of drug activities over here. And you ain't done nothing. They didn't broke your motherfucking Fourth Amendment motherfucking rights and shit right then and there. They didn't even pull you over for no traffic infraction. They didn't pull, but they're gonna white explain their way out of pulling you over and shit by trying to tell you that it's a motherfucker. White explaining. And it's even worse when the niggas start white explaining, goddamn it, talking about some, well, if you were through this, well, you should have just complied and talking all of that tap dancing ass
Well,
shit.
who said
That's
that
a
on
nigga
Tonight
white
Show?
explaining for the white man.
Who said that tonight? Who said that? Who said if you wasn't over
I'm
there?
not trying to say specifically I'm not trying to say nothing about nobody, what they specifically said. I'm saying I said earlier, if you remember, there's a thin line between saying things and shit amongst black people. You don't even get close to that motherfucker on my part of the line. I'm not even gonna tap dance talking about some niggas did more to me than white people did and shit. That's that old Sergeant Waters ass from motherfucking goddamn it, the movie Denzel Washington played in and shit. Sergeant Waters want to rub elbows with the whites and like the white shit. Man, ain't nobody got time for that. They done did too much stuff to be sitting around, motherfuckers trying to rub elbows with them and try to say they ain't never did nothing to us. Knowing goddamn well they did. You know, that's white explaining too. I could talk all day about white explaining.
I'm still trying to find out. You said I was white explaining. I didn't hear me make justifications for any racism. I didn't.
Right. Well, so where did it come from? Who did it?
He said initially I was.
I white explained and Kev white explained. So I'm just trying to figure out where did I white explain by saying these motherfuckers be just as ignorant as you sometimes. And when you come across ignorance, if you want, because I'm an educator, I enjoy
rewind the tape after all of y'all white explained, and then y'all are here where the fuck I'm coming from then. Because goddamn it, whoever the fuck was white explaining gonna hear themselves white explain after I got done talking and shit. You will see yourself white explaining. Rewind the motherfucking tape then, man.
I don't have to rewind the tape.
You remember Martin on Boomerang?
I feel like it's our job. I feel like it's our job to hold our people accountable and to let each other know, like, man, listen, man, fuck that oppression shit. Fuck all that shit, dog. It's time to stand the fuck up and handle your motherfucking business. That's how I feel like we've been talking the whole show. I don't think we've been trying to explain nothing or cover nothing up, or, you know what I mean? I feel like we've been 100.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I would advise anybody, you can take and interpret it. It's free to interpretation. Like, it doesn't bother me as somebody may say, Kev, you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm big on accountability. I'm big on accountability. You know what I'm saying? If I'm big on accountability, you know what I mean? If a nigga is on tape fighting and pushing and shit with the police and then they wind up shooting them or they do something, I get it. I understand why. You know what I mean? And if I say that, listen, man, he shouldn't have been pushing and shit fighting with the police. You know what I mean? It's some truth to that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like even that would be white explaining, saying that a brother should do this instead of that. You know what I mean? I feel like we talking about how we should react, how we should do. And it's just everybody talking about their own perspective on what they think we should do. You know what I mean? When we start giving shit names and see, that's kind of, I'm starting to feel like white explaining kind of mean like coonish activity.
Conspiracy theorist type shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Write a motherfucker off words and
that's
shit.
why I'm wondering, like, I don't get it. Like, because I don't see where we did that in none of that type of shit in the show.
So check this out.
Choosing not to give white motherfuckers my power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying they innocent. I understand this system is built for them, but I also understand, well, who was it? Lyndon B. Johnson that said if you give a white person somebody to look down upon, they won't realize you robbing them. So I understand the system is fucking them too. They're just too busy looking at and judging us to realize they getting fucked too. So like, I look at the bigger picture in the system, not the pawns.
Jesse said completely missed me with that nonsense. Jesse, what you snapping about? What Jesse snapping about? I don't know what Jesse mad about. Courtney, you still with us?
You know, I'm here. Well,
Okay. So you initially read the definition, right? And so it was like, I thought
Man,
the key
Courtney,
words
read the
were.
definition one more time.
Hold
please.
on. I thought the key words in there were talking to people who are oppressed about oppression and being what do they call it? What did it say? In a condescending way. I thought that was the key part of it. So that's to like talk about racism of black people and kind of blame them like what Bill Cosby did, like pound cake, to say, you know, yeah, you niggas poor because y'all fucking won't, y'all too lazy and y'all smoke too much weed. Pull your goddamn pants up and you won't be so poor. And that's being condescending to them instead of explaining to them the way the system is set up, which is what I thought I was doing. But Courtney, read the definition again, Courtney, because people.
I feel like even with that, it's a perspective. You know what I mean? Because really, he trying to give a motherfucker what he think can help him. You know what I mean? Stop.
It's just a lot of emotion,
like, up and all that type shit. It's a mindset. You know what I mean? Like you put names to shit, it get funny.
Everybody's had their own personal experience in this world dealing with everybody. So I can understand there's people who got traumas and pains around this shit. But as for me, like I said, I try not to let my emotions get the best of me. And I'm not just I hate everybody type nigga. No, I treat everybody accordingly. If I gotta tell you about yourself, I'm gonna tell you about your motherfucking self no matter what color you are. And if I fucks with you, I'm gonna fucks with you no matter what color you are. Like, I'm not that nigga.
And then let's be real. Like you talking, I think he mentioned about how you said black people did more to you than white people. And a lot of black people can really attest to this.
And that's my personal experience.
Hey, let's be fucking honest again. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. If you sitting in the gas station in the hood, some dusty motherfucking nigga, you know what I mean, come walking towards your car, going to the store, going in the store, you're going to be on point. You're going to get on point right quick and make sure he ain't on no bullshit. Quicker than you would if you was out in Cudahy some motherfucking where at a gas station and you see a motherfucker coming across the lot going to the gas station. Which one are you going to be on your P's and Q's for more so?
I'm on point regardless.
Because you know these niggas might do something to you. You know what I mean? Let's just fucking be honest, man.
But hey, Kamar.
And see, that could be white splaining too. You know what I mean? Like when motherfuckers try to use that. Like it could be reverse white splaining or some shit. You know what I mean? Because you telling a motherfucker not to say something like that. But we being fucking real.
Kamar, the thing is, what you just said for me is poignant because I'm the type of person where if I'm in Waukesha or Kenosha somewhere by myself late at night and I see some white people, I lock my door then too. I'm like, they ain't finna try no bullshit with me.
Where do you feel the most? You know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying, though.
Okay, so for me, feeling unsafe is unsafe. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It like,
but you get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you're saying.
The reality is, people usually commit crime within 20 miles from their house. So white people rob white people if you're in the suburbs. White people kill white people if you're in the suburbs.
You got a better one.
In the hood, black people kill. I mean, shit.
I got a better one. I got a better scenario. Which gas station would you rather go to at midnight? 27th and Burleigh or motherfucking Burleigh up by motherfucking Mayfair?
You know,
which one would you rather go to?
Actually,
like I said, let's be fucking real. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's hold accountability where it's supposed to be.
So check this out.
Saying? And then maybe we can start moving forward together.
Dion says the moon looks like it's about to fall.
I say personally,
nigga
go get gas. I drive down to 27th, right close to Center, because that's where the gas is cheapest right now. If I ain't going to Woodman's, I stay out here by Woodman's. But if I'm in the city, I'm going to 27th to Burleigh, right off Fond du Lac and Center, and
no. Yeah,
crazy thing is,
late at night. No,
I used to walk to that damn 27th.
That ain't where you want to be.
I feel, but I've been regular, and there have been no issues. It's like y'all saying that's us putting that out there about our own people. Because I've been going there for years in the evening, during the day, and it ain't been no issues. So
I done seen motherfuckers dead at that gas station.
When was that, Kamar?
Years ago. Listen, man. Listen, I had a whole bunch of dope houses down there in that area. 24th and Burleigh, 25th and Burleigh, 19th and 19th and Teutonia. You know what I mean, all around that area, but you know what I'm saying? So like this ain't nothing that I'm talking about today that's going on. I'm talking about since the beginning, so long as I can remember shit's been going on. And all I'm saying is you would rather be at a gas station on Mayfair Road in Burleigh than you would on 27th. At least I would. I'm being honest. I love my people.
Jesse was telling me what he was mad about.
It's more likely for some bullshit to happen on 27th in Burleigh than it is on Mayfair in Burleigh.
So Jesse's telling me what he was mad about. He said that just comply when they don't comply. He was talking about your example of the police beating up on dude, and you said, well, why he shouldn't have been fighting with the police. That's what he was upset about.
The definition once again.
I didn't even know. Hey, listen, I just used that as an analogy. I didn't even know nobody. I wasn't speaking on nothing in particular.
Go ahead, Courtney.
And I was just talking about, you know what I mean, how a situation. I didn't know he was talking about nothing in particular.
Go ahead, Courtney. Courtney, we got to get you a microphone because you got to hook your microphone back up. I hate you when sometimes you try to talk. If somebody talks, it cuts you off.
I see.
Right, we got to get your mic. You got to get that microphone you used to use back on because you was never missing then. But go ahead, you was about to read something.
So we're gonna start with the sentence, and then I'm gonna read the definition. So the sentence says, "I know what driving while black is like, so don't you dare white explain to me." You know what I'm saying? If you like context, and then it's a verb once again of a white person to comment on the minority experience or explain racism to a person of color in a condescending or blaming way. So a blaming way, Kev, as to point out accommodating behaviors that the victim of racism might have adopted to diffuse interracial conflict.
So then can a black person even white explain if I'm not a white person trying to explain to a black person how I can relate? Like,
right.
All I'm saying is my experience when I went to college and came across white people who've never seen black people, because of how I look, I intimidated them. Like they used to jump, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I'm like, hey, bro, what's good? You know, and they're like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even like, they just didn't know. They just, and it's like, what the fuck you think? Oh, well, what we see on TV, like, dog, that's entertainment. And they get the stupidest motherfuckers to entertain y'all. Like I said years ago, when Lil Wayne first started having locks and tats on his face, and I started seeing other rappers do it, I said, watch, in a few years, the requirement to rap is going to be a tatted face, locks, and a mouth full of gold. I said, tat face is going to be the new black face, and you can't perform without it. And sure as shit, that came to pass, but, you know, that the people I met in college, that was their only like frame of reference when it came to black people, was what they seen in rap videos and movies, and most of them motherfuckers got guns and acting ignorant.
Okay.
And Mama, Cosby Show or something. They want to watch those sitcoms about black folks. Goddamn.
Nah, you know that people watch MTV, and that's
Mama Jenkins said, didn't I say that's why I'm locked and loaded? Harris says Osambo did that. Said the same stuff as Bill Cosby. I never did he, because I never heard him go as far as pound cake. Bill Cosby was off his rocker, and he did that here in Milwaukee at North Division.
He had people mad as hell too.
Ewok says white people kill and rob white people at the same rate. Kamar, you kill.
They do. Shit, I never said they didn't.
We just ain't been at they gas
station. He walk all over the place, man. I never even touched that topic.
Emotions, man. Emotions make you cry.
I never even spoke on that topic.
He's saying that based on when you was talking about the gas stations and people being killed, and it's like,
no shit. But like, where do you, like I said again, like, let's be honest, where do you feel more comfortable? Which gas station would you feel more comfortable? I'm gonna feel more comfortable on Mayfair Road. at 12 o'clock midnight.
The only thing that affects my judgment in that regard is because if I'm out there in their area, then I worry about their police fucking.
Police, right? I was about to say it.
Right.
I'm still on point just for 2 different reasons.
Right. I'm still on point though. Being on point is on point.
Police pulling behind me at a gas station on Burleigh and Highway 100 versus I don't want a car full of niggas pulling up on me on 27.
Right. It's that same gang, right?
But that's what I was saying. I'll be on point with.
Hey, but let's get back on that topic. We was talking about Rail saying niggas doing shit to him. More so than white people done something to him.
And he said, but the second part of that, he said if he was jaded, that he would be more jaded towards black people because that's who he's had most of his time.
I don't hate nobody.
And so I said, let's be honest, most black people are jaded because, you know what I mean? We know you going from 27th to Burleigh, something might happen.
Right.
If you go anywhere, something might happen.
It might happen. Murphy's Law.
Happen. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right, y'all. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'll leave y'all win.
I understand what you're saying.
Y'all win. I get it. Y'all win.
We gotta stop being scared of our own neighborhoods. Like I always go to those gas stations.
Your ass better be smart.
Each other.
Shit, hold on, Courtney. Now
niggas gotta quit doing shit to each other.
And hold on,
because a motherfucker got a nice car. Niggas gotta quit walking up to him and taking his shit.
The scared thing is, I think you got to be aware of your neighborhood.
And it's
common sense is common sense. Like so,
it's a reason niggas.
So I know that there's certain places in my neighborhood where the likelihood of some shit happening increases because it's a hot spot, right? No pun intended. But there's some areas in my neighborhood that I'd feel comfortable at. Now, when I still lived in the hood, I wouldn't go to the gas station on Capitol Drive in Teutonia often because it was a hot spot. I would go on Green Bay and Cornell.
Right.
But now times have changed. Right. Where there's been several murders and a lot of wild shit happening. So if I still lived over there, I wouldn't go there. I would find somewhere else to go where the traffic was less and it was a less likelihood of me being fucked up or involved in some shit. So it's really just about being aware. That's
my whole point right there.
Yeah, I totally got what you were saying. I wasn't trying to. A lot of times you having a discussion ain't really about being right or wrong.
Right.
You make your point, you keep it moving. It ain't no scoreboard. At least I'm not keeping it. He said, did y'all hear about what happened in NYC with them small hats in the tunnel under the church? They didn't comply with the police, but ain't nobody said anything about that. It's just when black people do it. Well, we know that. I mean, I don't. If it came off that somebody was dismissing that there was racism in America perpetrated on black people, that certainly ain't my sentiment. It's many different hypocritical stances and shit like that where we've seen white people do certain things and get away with it, and black people get over prosecuted or persecuted for the same offense. That exists entirely. I would never dismiss that. He said, Google, this is Ernest saying, Google the stats in white people's neighborhood, damn near equal for crimes. But I don't know that their vandalism is the same. I don't know if you go to Whitefish Bay, you're going to get the same level of vandalism and petty crimes that you're going to get on 2nd and Burleigh. I don't think they're equal. I don't think they're equal.
They had different crimes. I just feel like it's a cause and effect to everything. You know what I mean?
They do the same
like
shit.
It's a reason why black people are like hesitant with each other. You know what I mean? Because black people been burning black people since you know what I mean, as long as they can remember. It's a cause and effect to everything, man. And this is why black people scared to be around other black people, don't really want to. And you know what I'm saying? Why I won't go to certain gas stations, you know what I'm saying? Because of this type shit.
And then the flip side of that too, why I could say that, because like I said, I'm not around white people like that to even interact with them negatively or positively. I'm around black folks. So that's who I interact with positively or negatively. But I know for a fact that there are black people who would think twice before they do the same shit to a white person that they willing to do to a nigga. Because they know that the punishment is different. So it's almost like even black folks are more inclined to oppress their own, afflict their own, because they know it comes with a lighter punishment.
Right.
Okay. He says, let me clarify. This is Jesse Paris. So let me clarify. I'm talking about when white people tell us to comply, and when they don't comply with the same police, they claim we should obey, saying that they don't comply with the police, but they saying we should. It's hypocritical. I think this, I, as a black person, if you are fighting with the police, like physically throwing blows with the police, you should know that the likelihood of you being shot or killed goes up tremendously, right?
Or getting fucked up.
And
Just get fucked.
and I could say, well, a white person wouldn't, but that would be me not understanding my own reality. Once I've made that choice that I'm gonna fight with the police, I should be of the mindset that I don't give a fuck if they kill me or not, because that's what's more than likely gonna happen. Once again, is it fair that we see white people do crazy shit all the time and the police still trying to talk to them and warn them? That's why we always saying there's need for law enforcement reform. That's why we're always saying that the justice system needs reform, because it's unequal. It's unfair to people of color. I know that. We know that. Young Issy of We Are Evolution. He says, "What's up? I'm Young Issy. Your channel came across my algorithm. Checking in to salute y'all. Is this an open panel or a scheduled conversation?" It's an organic conversation on a panel. This is actually our MLK Day show. So thank you for tuning in. We allow everybody to contribute to the conversation. So a lot of times it becomes kind of disjointed, but it all comes back together. He said, Ernest said, Ben Carson, Herschel Walker, Herman Cain, Coons. I mean, a lot of us say they are. I would say David Clark is more of a coon because of his legislative power, his ability to really, get in with powerful people to enforce laws. Ben Carson was also very powerful. Herschel Walker, not so much, just a bumbling idiot. Herman Cain, a little bit more powerful. Earl Henny says, "No, sir, yes, sir," to the police. You know what? That's because what I teach my son is, and you could say I'm wrong, I don't care. What I teach him is when you're in encounter with the police, act accordingly.
Just come home alive. Get that.
Right, but I'm not necessarily saying they got to be yes or no, sir, but I'm saying be sensible, right? Like, don't be twitchy, don't be aggressive. That don't mean they're not gonna do nothing to you. But there's a way to do things. It ain't what you do, is how you do it. So you
got a better chance doing it.
Right. It increases your survivability. Is that a word? I don't know. We got to get Courtney to Google that.
Survivability. You just got to understand that motherfuckers got egos. Even people in power and people in professional things, they might be like, "Oh, how dare this motherfucker talk to me like this? Oh yeah, now I'm about to use my power to afflict him." So sometimes you got to even understand the psychology of that type shit to where, okay, I'm not taking the L getting home to my family. I get this motherfucker badge number. I'm going to figure this shit out. And when I get in safety, then I can act accordingly. There's a time to fight. There's a time to stay alive type shit.
So you can be running away from the police, but they still can kill you. I want to make this point because it's already 10 o'clock, y'all. So we got to get off. I'm glad the conversation has extended itself. But check this out. And you hear me all the time talk about how much I respected my father, right? Like my father was a real one. He's a real dude. He was, rest in peace. I lost him in March of 99. But I can remember going to Mississippi with my father to visit as a kid, right? And there's a place, there's a road, there's an area where he's from called the Natchez Trace. And there's an expressway through it, right? And it's pretty much up in the boondocks, where it's like, very rural woods and all this kind of stuff. And we was going through there one time and we got pulled over. My father was flying, got pulled over, got Milwaukee license plates, right? He already knows. This dude gets behind us. He gets out the car. It's a sheriff with the boots that come up to his knees, with the big hat on, with the mirrored shades, right? This is my father, right? He's at this point, my father had to be about 50 years old, because I was about 10 or 11, about 50, 51. He walks up to the window. He said, my father said, "Can I help you, sir?" He said, "Hey, boy, going a little fast through here. Where you in such a hurry to get to?" My father said, "Just down here with my boys, trying to take a ride through the countryside and get back before it get dark." He said, "Well, you was going a little bit too goddamn fast there." I said, "You got these Wisconsin license plates. Where you from, Wisconsin?" My father said, "No, sir, I'm from down here." He said, "Well, you give me your license, boy." My father give him his license. He go back to the car. I'm looking at my pops like, "Fuck this motherfucker, this bitch ass." Come back to the car. He say, I ain't gonna give you no ticket this time, son. But you need to watch your speed when you come through here. We had a lot of accidents around here. We don't want none of that mess on these freeways. My father say, "Thank you, sir. I keep that in mind." Take off, pull off. I'm in the back seat. I'm fuming. I'm a little kid. Man, Dad, that dude was racist. And my father said, "Shut your ass up." That motherfucker right there had his hand on his pistol when he got out the car. He could have killed all three of us back here and pushed our car right off that bank into that creek and said whatever he'd wanted to, and it would have stuck.
Right.
Said, when I seen his boots and I seen his shades, I knew what kind of white man he was. And he said, and he knew I knew. That's why he made sure to say, "You from Wisconsin?" "No, I'm from around here." So you know the rules. And so I said, "Still, you should have said something." My father said, "Well, we riding, we alive, we gone. I ain't gotta never see him again. What sense did it make for me to go to fuck with him and get my ass whooped and get heaven knows what happened?" You got to know where you at, and you got to know how to move where you at in order to survive. That's how I got to be this old. I always took that lesson to heart because I'm like, well, he could have said, "I got my sons in the car." Man, that motherfucker, boom, could have off my pops right there and got away with it. Well, it was like a lesson in how you handle yourself. Like I talked about my mother, and we always talked about what we wouldn't do. We wouldn't have picked no cotton. My mother used to laugh at us. She used to say, "They'd have gave y'all motherfucking name. They gave y'all a Chinese name. He hung high. That's what they'd have called you. You'd have been fucking up down there in Mississippi." He said, "So if we are free, why do we have to act like prisoners of war, interacting with the police? SCOTUS already ruled the police have no obligation to serve and protect you." Ewok said, "Man, all I'm saying is tap dancing days are dead," and Dr. King realized it. That's why they killed him. He admitted he made a mistake in one of his last speeches. She said, "Facts, Chantel." Mama Jenkins said, "All woods, we take." She said, "All woods, we take it to Jackson from Kosciuszko. I got 2 tickets in one day. I don't drive it. I take 19 now." So she's familiar. I forgot her husband is from the same area my parents are. So she knows what the Natchez Trace is. So she know I ain't lying. And it is all woods for miles. And it's a 2-lane highway. And it got swamps. It's got swamps and water just on either side. So, he, like my father knew where he was. He knew the soil. And he wasn't going to play, right? And I'm glad that he put our safety over his ego.
Right.
Because it's going to be a shitty situation. It's Monday. It's cold as hell. I still didn't get to talk about a lot of shit, but that's why we got Wednesday coming up. It's 10:16, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let us go for the night. Kamar, what you got? Talk about your hours for House Vitality and whatnot.
Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7. Pull up on me.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man.
Courtney, you rock with the Chamber of Commerce. What y'all got popping?
Starting off with these third Thursdays for the year for the pitch competition. So this will be our first third Thursday at Turning Tables down at Turner Hall from 5 to 9. First 5 people there get to sign up to pitch their business or their idea.
Now, I don't know why Outlaw Radio ain't been to this pitch contest to win this $10,000.
You get 10,000, 7,000, 3,000 at the end of the year.
I just don't know why, man. I've been winning money with the Chamber of Commerce for almost 2 years now, man. No, just a year.
What the hell be going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. I ain't even.
Man.
Hey, listen, it's impossible for one person to know everything. What I don't know, I don't know. So I'm not gonna make no excuse and say it's because I don't like dude. I don't even know about it. I haven't even looked into it. Maybe if I look into it and I decided it'd be beneficial, it'd be something I want to get involved with. But I haven't even looked into it, so I don't even know the particulars.
I just told you what it is. Y'all pitched that one time and that's it. If you win the pitch, then you went in for the big pitch at the end of the year. That's it. But if you don't,
it's got to be more to it. I'd like to look at everything. I ain't gonna just go off.
Why you can't? Why you don't believe us?
Why can't I go look it up for myself?
You can, but I'm just saying though. You said there's got to be more to it. But why you can't just believe us? We telling you what to do.
Why I can't go look at it myself? Why I can't say let me go look at this and see what they talk about? Then I come back and say, y'all, I looked at it. It's what y'all said. Let's move forward. Why?
My story. If you go to my story, go ahead and click on it. It's right up in my story.
Okay. Let's look at it. Like, right. I'm not gonna. Oh, for real, Courtney? I'll be there tomorrow. I don't know.
See why not, nigga?
All right, let's set this up.
I don't know. I don't move. I gotta know about it. I know I'm plantationing until Saturday. Braille, you plantationing too, or or what? You look like you need some time off because you was asleep during the show a couple times. Like,
man, shit, I'm
white
told
plane. What? White
I'm
plane.
exhausted, man. This snow shit was but no, so you know it's gonna be cracking, man. I work for Quest. You know, it was like 40,000 motherfuckers without power in Milwaukee. So I know all this week and for the next 3 weeks is gonna be motherfuckers calling for replacement food share.
You can call for that.
Hey man, look,
I'm gonna make a call in the morning.
I'll message you.
My power was
I
off
too many motherfuckers calling this shit. But you know, luckily Wednesday, Thursday, I'm actually in this leadership program to where they like have me take management certifications with UWM.
Go
So
Rev.
I appreciate that. It was a lot of motherfuckers applied and I got approved. So I'm gonna just enjoy that time off the phone, man, because it's a whole lot easier to work when you ain't got to take calls all day. So
that white man gonna allow you to take some kind of management certification, huh? A white man allowing y'all to have a little pitch contest and y'all trying to make me get involved with the shit.
First off, my black man.
Right. A white man is allowing him to do that shit. Y'all ain't, that's why y'all got lights in that building. Y'all allowed to have that goddamn building in the community. Y'all better be lucky. Right? You allowed to have this Wi-Fi.
You call it what you want. It's there.
Listen, man. The one thing people have to understand is whenever we sit down and engage in conversation, it's very important that we listen to each other and not make generalizations. A lot of times we like to label people things if they don't agree with us, or we feel a certain way because you don't like what they're saying. I'm one of those people. I don't really get involved in that kind of thing. It is what it is. You say what you say. That's what you say. You stand on what you stand on. That's what you stand on. Never am I trying to say anything to anybody to convert them. Right. I'm never trying to turn you out. Right. Like I'm not a pimp trying to make you start to turn tricks. That's not my goal. As a matter of fact, we say all the time that on Outlaw Radio, we don't try to tell you what to think. We just want you to think. That's it. And if you start to think, then you come to your own you form your own hypothesis and you come up with your own theories and strategies, man. And that makes a beautiful mixture because variety is the spice of life. I think you only get fucked up when you think you know everything because not one person knows every goddamn thing and not one person is always right. Other than that, all you got to understand is behind every great fortune is a great crime. And behind every great crime is an old white man. I will see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love.